Welcome, everybody.
Yay.
We are here. Bring the energy, guys. We're ready. We're back. It is now time for the Bento Boxcast. Welcome to episode 11. A fantastic one going to be coming at you guys today. Very, very excited for this one. And as you hear the incredible sound effects in the background, I am here, as always, with the amazing co-host, Rafa. Rafa, how's it going?
Hi.
That's going to be a good one today, guys. And you know what, honestly, I instantly want to get right into something that I'm super excited about, all right? I want to talk about the comments because I noticed that this last pod, episode 10, which was our longest pod, was one of the best received episodes that we've ever done.
It's the best received
It is the best.
Correction.
So it is absolutely fantastic. Cannot thank you guys enough. It's so sick to see how much, love and support we got on this one. Truly, It was super, super dope just to see it skyrocket all the way to the top. Granted, we did talk about some very spicy topics like dub versus sub and anime video games and things like that. So shout out to that.
And we also had a grade A superstar guest on the podcast.
This is very true. The Better Cordero joined us on that last pod. Very, very happy. And so, actually, you know what? I don't know if you listened to the last Playing Pod with Alex and John, but I heard a few things that I was not too happy with. But I heard that you have some comments for some of the guys there, so I'm actually just gonna let you take the floor here. I knew you had some things because in the group chat you had said you had some stuff to talk about. So go ahead,
yes,
Rafa.
Sir.
Do your thing.
Well, first and foremost, thank you to John for coming by on episode 10. He did a great job. We had so much fun on episode 10. It went great, as everybody can tell. Hopefully, everybody else had fun listening to it as much as we had recording and discussing all that stuff. Now, it seems that there's a jealous somebody out there who was not so happy with the podcast. A certain McDonald's-shaped hairline person that we know of, right? Alex, the other half of Geek Shark 2000 of the Playing Pod with Alex and John, was from the start complaining, moaning, saying this and that, how we stole his style. Really, Alex, your style? You made up the idea of quiz shows. So what about all the other quiz shows that ever existed before you? And what about all the other quiz shows that existed before you that were done on podcasts? Yeah, we're buying off your style. Sure, Alex. Sure. Because you are the creator of all these ideas. It's not like you got it from somewhere else. Okay, whatever. And by the way, my quiz was way better than his. I'm saying
that
it right now.
That is very true.
I'm saying it right now. I don't care. My quiz was way better than his. Also, he had a problem. He was talking, guys. Oh my God! I did not come on here. To whine and complain like Alex did. But I'm gonna complain a little bit. Just a little bit. He had the audacity, the nerve, to complain about our segments, about our segues into our segments. Are you serious? We have guaranteed the best segues from compared to them and us.
Oh.
We have the best segues, hands down.
Ain't no competition.
And he wants to say, oh well, they think it ahead. They write it down. No, all right. No, I come up with that stuff on top of the head in the moment. I don't write anything down. The only thing we ever write down, Hector, backing up on this, is what we're going to talk about, which you guys do too, because that's what you guys said on the podcast. Ooh. So we write down the list. Oh, we're going to talk about this. We're about to talk about this. Well, how about this? Sure, that sounds fine. That's it. We don't say, well, we could transition this into this, and like, no, we don't do that. We are atop of the dome. We freestyle segues here, and well, you freestyle segments too, but it's into segues into segments too. But it sounds like complete ass. Just like in the last one. Remember that one? Yo,
yikes.
I was like legit. John set him up for this perfect segue with they're talking about Pikmin, and Alex just effed it up. He fudged it up so bad. In the same episode of him talking about how about us and our segues. Oh my God! I don't even it's just like watching a little kid cry and cry and complain. Like, bro, what are you doing? Like, why you hating, bro? I don't know.
Oh
I
my
don't know.
God.
And it was a joke. Okay, like he's mad. Okay, listeners, I'm gonna wrap this up because this is already going way too long. He's mad because I in the quiz there was a bonus question where yes the answers was us talking smack about Alex. It was a joke, buddy. It was just a joke. Jeez, oh my God. If I knew you'd get so mad, I would put something else in there. Jeez Louise.
Jesus. And the Pod
And
Wars continue.
and to one last thing, just to wrap everything up about this. Fudge Alex. That's all I gotta
Oh,
say about
oh
that.
my
Fudge
God.
Alex. Um, you know what? I still love them. we're talking so much smack about these guys, especially Alex and John. Because John did step up like, "Hey man, our segments are not that great." I heard that, John. Shout out to you, dude. You say you're neutral, but I feel like you're more bento than playing pot. I feel like I don't know. I'm just gonna throw that out there. I don't know. But anyways, guys, I'm gonna give him a plug. I'm gonna plug him in because
Hmm.
even though we're beefing with Alex, even though we're talking a lot of smack to Alex, he's talking a lot of smack to us. They're still our friends. We still
Very
love
true.
them. If you guys out there listening want to listen to a podcast that deals with video games, movies, TV shows, pop culture in general, go check them out. It's the Playing Pod with Alex and John on YouTube, on Spotify, under the channel Geek Jar 3000. These guys are funny. They know they see either they know what they're talking about or they know how to sell it good. You know what I'm saying? So if you
Mm-hmm.
guys want to listen to some of that, go check them out. Awesome podcast. The newest one just came out today. I listened to it when I was at work. Was funny. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it other than the parts he was talking smack. Because when Alex was talking smack, I was like, ooh, ooh, I was mad. I was mad. But the parts when he wasn't talking smack, oh my God, it's one of the best podcasts I've ever listened to. Go
Mm.
check them out, guys. There's
Big
good stuff
praise.
over there.
And by the way, guys, when he said today, he meant on Monday. Their Praying podcast comes out every Monday. But yeah, guys, so that's enough of like the niceness, Of course, Alex wants to continue these podcast wars, and hey, man, I'm still waiting on that challenge that we gave him. They said play us
Oh
in any video game. I'm still waiting.
yeah.
I'm ready to bust them. It's gonna be
No,
easy, smooth. They can, I know they said we can pick
I
the game, but it's gonna be clean. I'm not even worried.
I th- I think they're scared. Honestly, I think
Oh,
they're scared.
they're quaking in their boots, 100%.
Yeah, yeah. That's why they haven't brought it up yet because they're trying to duck out of it. They're trying to trying to let us forget about it.
I just don't think they want the smoke. I don't think they can handle it. Is my thing.
No, you're right.
I
You're
think that's the
right.
biggest
Yeah.
issue personally. But I think other people deserve to be shown some love, and especially our S plus plus tier viewer. Shout out to Josue Guevara, who actually
Oof.
ended up
That's the
commenting
best.
quite a bunch of times on the pod from the last one actually. And here are some of the stuff that he said. Rafa, he called you an ageist bully. First off, uh,
Yeah. Yeah.
so there's that.
I felt like it was a joke though. I felt like he was joking. I don't think he meant it. I don't think he meant it because we're best friends. We
Oh, okay.
we hang out every Sunday. Every Sunday we go bowling, and then we get pizza and soda afterwards. Pepperoni on my side. He likes sausage and bacon on his side. Okay, so we're best friends. So I think he was joking.
Okay, wow. Well, as yeah, I don't know how to continue that. I just did not know he liked bacon and sausage. All right, that's an
He's a
interesting
very
combo.
interesting He's a very interesting guy. He doesn't do the basic stuff like everybody else. He likes to switch it up.
Oh,
Really,
okay,
really, yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Well, that
It's
being
just,
said,
yeah,
he also said the audio from the last pod it was fantastic, which is a great thing to hear. He said, "Shout out to the
yeah.
recorder and engineer. Shout out John for that because he did an amazing job." As
Yes,
well as
sir.
just being on the pod itself. And finally, I'm gonna put these two kind of together. He said, "I've heard Jose my entire childhood. I've been whitewashed, and I am a fan. Everyone corrects him for me, so it works out." And I think he was talking about how we corrected you about it when you kept saying
Me,
Jose.
yeah,
Yeah. So
yeah.
Jose, yeah,
I always screw up his name, but I call him JoJo when we hang out. I'm like, JoJo, what's up, bro?
Oh,
What's
okay.
up, JoJo? Like that, yeah, and he's cool with it. Then when he lets me call him JoJo when we hang out when we're hanging out. Other than that, I have to call him Josue everywhere else.
Around the
Where
people.
he gets
Gotcha,
me.
gotcha.
Right,
Okay, okay.
exactly, exactly.
And then kind of just to top it all off, right? We have him saying, "I started with dub and went to sub, but that's not an issue for me. I watched English movies with subtitles, so I'm used to it, and I recommend Yowamushi Pedal to you guys. Give it the 3 episodes." Oh, okay. So we have our
There you go,
first
baby.
ever viewer anime swap
There you go.
suggestion. So you know what? We will do this. I think Rafa, you can agree to it. We will watch this now.
Yeah.
I looked this up beforehand, and it is a cycling anime.
I know exactly which anime he's talking about.
Interesting.
I
Have you
know
watched it
exactly
before,
what
though?
anime he's talking about. I think I watched the first episode
Okay.
and I kind of dropped it, but I know exactly what he's talking about.
Okay, so we're gonna have to give this a 3 episode rule, which I'm a-okay with. Yaomushi Pedal. If it's in the same vein as Haikyuu, then hopefully I'm gonna have a good time. But that also being said, that takes care of the comment section. Now we also had 2 other comments, but they were spam. So yeah,
What are you talking about, dude? They weren't spam. Give it to me. Give it to me.
Go
Let
ahead,
me
go
tell
ahead. I
you what
want
it
you to
is.
talk about these 2.
Oh shoot! So somebody named Romaine Cladwell put really nice emoji, like the okay emoji, a heart eyes emoji, a kissy emoji, a bunch of hearts. They really like that podcast. They put really nice. It's a good stuff. And then somebody else, Johnny Mueller, right? Hopefully I said that one right.
Uh-huh.
He put nice. And then like the laughing emoji where like you're covering your mouth. And then they put a timestamp of 36:14, which takes us, I think, to you in the middle of a sentence, which that was a really funny sentence. And I was laughing also very hard at that part, that one section when it was like middle of you talking about some shit, something. I don't know what you were talking about, but it was really funny, clearly, because Johnny said. And also put banana emojis because I was also very horny when listening to that section
Jesus
too.
Christ!
So I
What
understand.
the
I understand what
hell?
Johnny was talking about. Yeah. And by the
Oh
way,
my
guys,
god.
they're clearly spam, right? They have
Oh my
pictures
god.
of ladies and in their underwear. So,
Oh, when I saw this, I
hey,
found it so funny. I was like, "Wow, I think
I
we're getting to a point where we're gonna get spam comments like this," and I was
I
not
loved it.
expecting it.
I think honestly, dude, I love Josue, but I think he got beat this week. I don't know, man. Those banana emojis, they really got to me. You know that 36.14 timestamp where you're talking like you're like in the middle of a sentence, then there's no context of whatsoever what you're talking about with a nice on there. Woof.
Oh
I don't know, man.
man,
I think Jose has to pick it up for next week. That's all I'm gonna say about that.
just give us a random timestamp and a bunch of random fruit emojis in it. I think you'll be
I'm
fine.
sold. And some kiss emojis, and you got to me. You got to my heart. Um,
Jesus.
I just want to say thank you, Jose, for the recommendation for the
Hmm.
anime swap. I'm pretty sure you're gonna say this, Hector, but I'm already talking, so I'm just gonna go ahead and finish it. Um, any listeners out there who also want to recommend us any anime shows to watch, put it in the comments. We will definitely check it out. Just like we're gonna check out Josue's recommendation.
Poor guy. But yes, we definitely will. So you know what? We're just gonna move on. I think that was a great comment section. Of course, if you guys have any recommendations, we'll definitely do that. But as well, we read comments. We like to see that you guys are interacting with us and growing the community. So of course, if you guys have anything to say, just drop it down there. We'll check it out for sure.
Yes, sir.
Um, but I think it's time, Rafa. I think it's actually finally time to tune in to one of our favorite times of the day. Rafa, let us know what it is.
Oh, geez, is it already 8:53 p.m.? Oh, geez, Hector, we're running late. It's
Oh
time for
no.
the anime news with our correspondent anime guy, Hector. Hector, take it
Oh.
away.
Oh, I have a good one today. I'm actually really, really excited to talk about this one.
You're hype.
So I am very, very hyped. So I follow this page on Twitter. Actually, it's an account. It's called Anime News Network, and they recently released
It's a
a.
good website.
It is no, it is. It definitely is. They recently released a tweet titled The List, our 5 favorite openings from summer 2020. It's time to update your playlist because the summer season is dropping hottest beats yet. That's kind of a weird sentence. But that being said, we have talked about openings before on the pod, but it's interesting to see that they are going to be talking about the best ones in summer 2020. Now, I checked out the list and it was actually very, very interesting. So they had the community and then they made their own top 5 list from their employees, I'm guessing. And so let me just tell you the community list first, right? So number 1 is Decadence. Number 2 is ReZero Starting Life in Another World, Season 2. Number 3 is The God of High School. Number 4 is My Teen Romantic Comedy Snafu Climax. And number 5 is Fire Force Season 2, which is very, very surprising. That's the one that I think we're going to be talking about the most about. So that was the community list. So I kind of want to talk about that first, and then I'll give you, what was it? It was my, Jesus, I already forgot the name of the website.
Like theirs.
Yeah, Anime News Network. There you go.
Anime News Network, their list, yeah.
But yeah, so I mean, I don't know if you've been, watching either one of the ones that I, told you about. I think we've already talked about Fire Force before, but My Teen Romantic Comedy Snafu, I don't know if you've actually ever watched that before. I've never been intrigued to watch it, so I have no idea how or why that list or that ended up on the community list. But God of High School, we both watch. ReZero, I watched myself, and then Decadence. I know that was one of the ones that we said we wanted to talk about at some point, but I don't know if you've actually watched it.
Oh yeah, that's one of the ones on my list.
Okay, but yeah, I mean, Decadence seems like an interesting one. I have watched a few of the episodes. I actually like the show itself, but I can't say that the opening is something that catches my eye every time.
Yeah.
To me, it's kind of forgettable. I can't say it's like something that I'm like, oh man, I can't wait to watch this again. And then that kind of goes for the same with like Fire Force Season 2. I don't know how you feel about that, the newest one, but I just feel like I have such a high pedestal for literally the first ever opening for Season 1. So yeah, I don't really know.
I kind of have this feeling with most of them is like they're pretty much forgettable, or they don't have that hit or that the specific thing or style or spice to these openings that really stick to you, that they dig into your head and stay in there. A lot of these don't have that. Like Decadence, Fire Force. Trying to think what was the other ones on the list. I don't see that the comedy one, romantic comedy one. I haven't seen that one, so. I know it's a very popular show because I remember when it first started. I tried watching it, but I couldn't get into it. What was the God of High School?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why that's on there. That opening's not that great. There's multiple reasons why. This is a thing that, I mean, it's nothing against them. Well, it is against them, but like they do this thing where they put like scenes from the first episode into the opening. So I don't know if you noticed that. It's a lot of like the fighting portions of the tournament. It's a lot of that into the opening. So it's not. There's only a little bit of original animation in the actual opening itself in God of High School. That's why I have I don't want to say I have a big problem with it, but that's why I'm surprised it's on there. I mean the song is cool, like the song is catchy, but
Mm-hmm.
it's like there's only a really small section of the actual opening, which is original animation of like its own thing, its own style,
Yeah.
its own showing of the characters instead of just reusing scenes from the first episode. When anime uh when they do stuff like that, when studios do stuff like that, when they just have just scenes from the show in the opening, I kind of, that's like I downvoted against it. I don't like it.
Mm-hmm.
It's like instead of like doing something new, you're just reusing old, you're just reusing the animation. I'm not a big fan of that. So like, yeah, I'm surprised God of High School's on there. Rent a Girlfriend. I do like that opening a lot, specifically because, well, I like the song. The song is catchy.
Mm-hmm.
It's uh I also like a lot is that, I don't know if you noticed, but a lot of the scenes are rotoscoped.
Mm. Okay.
Um So for people who don't know what rotoscope is that they, for example, I film Hector running down the street, like with a regular camera, a digital camera, and then I go on the computer, and then frame by frame of what I filmed, I trace it over and draw it. So and then that's how you animate it, right? So it has that kind of lifelike look to it, quote unquote. A lot of anime, if you there's a certain way that it looks, a certain way that the when rotoscope is used, it looks a certain way, and once you know how it looks, you can always tell when to use it. For example, just side note, this is one anime. It's a really good anime, but it looks like dog poo poo. It's called Flowers of Evil. I don't know if you heard of
I've
it.
never heard of this.
It's the whole show is rotoscoped, the whole thing.
Hmm.
But it looks really bad. It looks really, really, really bad. I like the show. I saw it, I liked it, but a lot of people never gave it a chance or hated it because of the way it looked. And it's a tough watch sometimes because of how it looks. You know, the characters look ugly and whatever. Just if you have time, if you want to get more of an idea what I'm talking about, look up Flowers of Evil, look up a scene or something on YouTube. You'll get an idea what I'm talking about. But that's like the rotoscope style. Take it to like the extreme. What people are doing now with anime, with the rotoscope style, is that they're using it to film some scenes, but also still have that, not taking it all the way to like the live, real life side of things. They still, put the anime style into what they filmed through rotoscope. Like for example, and Rent a Girlfriend, there, the opening scene where it shows the four girls and they're doing like kind of like a hand dance type thing.
Mm-hmm.
You remember? Yeah, all those hand movements, that's all rotoscope. So they had, I don't know, it could have been the same girl or different girls stand in front of a camera and do those hand motions, and then they recorded that, and then they traced it over and drew it like the anime. There's also a scene where the main guy, the guy I forget his name, he's chasing after the main girl. He's running after, her, and you see him reach out with his hand. That's also rotoscoped.
Hmm. Okay.
Uh, yeah. And so something like that I appreciate a lot because they're doing something different, and it looks great. Also, it's more something personal for me. I also love when the characters dance in like the openings or in the endings and stuff like that. Like so, like I really love when I popped so big. I was like, yeah, dude, yeah. When the girls were doing the hand dance and all that stuff, they're doing the thing. I loved it. I loved it so much. So the only one I really agree with this list
Mm-hmm.
is Run a Girlfriend. For sure. I really like that opening. Everybody else, I'm just like, yeah, I could leave it or take it.
Yeah, I mean, I would say ReZero has a pretty good one. I wouldn't put it in my
Oh,
top
well, I
five.
haven't I haven't seen
Yeah,
ReZero, so I can't
that's the only one that I would
talk
say is
about that.
pretty good, but I wouldn't put it in my top five. And then I'm actually glad you said Rent a Girlfriend because the My Anime News Network, their top five essentially is K-Suk featuring Tyler Carter, who created Contradiction, which is the opening for The God of High School. Then it is Riona, which is the name of the song Anima, for Sword Art Online Alicization War of Underworld Part 2. Then it goes The Peggy's Centimetre, I don't know how you pronounce that, Centimetre for Rent a Girlfriend. And then it ends off with Theater of Life for Decadence, and then Chaos Drifters for No Guns Life Season 2. I have not watched No Guns Life. I don't know what that is about. The poster looked kind of cool for, the actual show itself, but other than that, can't say I've actually watched it.
I think they're on season 2 right now.
Mhm.
It's about a detective who has a head as a gun.
Right, so I won't be watching that. um, but other than that, I think I just love the fact that Rent a Girlfriend's up there. I think it's number 2 or number 3. I don't remember exactly the list that I just said, but yeah, I mean, Rent a Girlfriend just itself as a show is just fantastic.
Yes.
The latest episode was I mean, at this point, we might as well just talk about it because I know you like it as much. But I know I've talked super well. Yeah, I've talked a lot about this, right? Like I've talked so much about this show itself, but I kind of just want to hear it. Your perspective on the whole thing, and I guess what we can do, right? So I don't know if you guys remember in about 2 episodes ago, we spoke about my reactions to the 3 episode rule that we gave for the new summer 2020 anime. So now we finally get the chance to hear Rafa's opinion on everything that he's watched so far from summer 2020 anime. So Rafa, I'm just gonna give you the floor, man. Just go ahead. Tell us what you think.
Thank you. First of all, last time we talked about this, we set up that rule of that we can drop one anime, um, that we don't have to watch the 3 rules. Remember we talked about that?
Yeah, where we said we can just drop one in general and then just continue watching the rest of the other stuff, right?
Right,
Okay.
yeah. So the one I tried not to. I was like, I'm gonna try to watch all of these, but I couldn't do it, Hector. I could not do it. Was the I forgot the name of it. It was the Monster Doctor guy. What was the name of that freaking show? Monster Girl Doctor. I got to episode 2 and it was boring. It's such a boring show. And and they do this thing where like the doctor's helping out a girl, a centaur girl, or a cat girl, or whatever, and his assistant is like the snake girl, and the snake girl's jealous because she likes the doctor, so she like either throws the cat girl aside or like binds the doctor. I'm like, what are you doing? Like that trope, that generic trope thing where like the love interest gets mad and beats up on the main guy because the main guy's getting attention from a girl and stuff like that. It's just boring, boring, not funny. It's not funny. The ecchi moments are not that like if it was like
Yeah.
ecchi, like ecchi, like bro, like this is getting out of hand. Like maybe I would have given another chance just because how ridiculous and how crazy it got. But even the ecchi scenes are boring. This show in general is just like it was putting me to sleep. I could not do it. I said, you know what? F this show. I'm not gonna watch this. I'm not gonna waste my time. I'm gonna use it. Whatever happens from here on out. If I'm stuck watching another show, I'll rather deal with that instead of sitting here and being bored out of my mind. That's the one thing I do not like about anime, or just in general with shows and games and things like that. Being, I'd rather be angry and frustrated and like losing my mind than instead of being bored and just sitting there waiting for the show to end. I'd rather be, oh, what the, like, losing my mind, losing my stuff. Like, I'd rather go through that than to sit there and be like, oh my God, it's only been 5 minutes? Oh my God, oh, jeez. Like, no, if that's like the worst thing ever. The worst thing you can ever be is boring. Boring, boring, boring. F this show. I'm never ever gonna go back to the show. Um, Moving on from there. The way that I'm gonna go up the list is the way that I have it ranked,
Ooh, okay.
and then there's one show that I didn't really bring up when we first talked about this in the beginning, but I'm somehow ended up watching almost all the episodes. That's something that I want us to talk about afterwards. So I dropped Monster Girl Doctor. From there, it is the Misfit of Demon King Academy. Now, I think you also saw this show,
I
right,
did. Yep.
Hector? This show is dumb, but I like it. It's not. I don't know how I'm gonna feel about it from like in the future. Maybe towards the end of the show. I don't know if I'm gonna keep watching it. But there's one specific scene that happened in this show that I said, okay, show you showed me something that I thought I would never ever see in my life, and because of it, you've earned my respect.
What the hell are you
Because
talking about?
let me tell you, Hector, let me tell you, because of it, you earned my respect. Because of it, you you won this round, and you're sticking around until I get tired of you, pretty much. It is the scene where the clearly first of all, there's a lot of problems with this show. Like, don't get me wrong. There's a lot of problems with this show. First of all, how does nobody notice that the main guy is like all powerful dude, right? Like he's doing spells that people were like, that spell hasn't been done since the Great War. Oh, that's a forgotten spell from the old times. Why does he know it? Nobody's gonna question that. Like, who's this random guy doing spells from hundreds and thousands of years ago? Why does he know it? They're just gonna let this guy run around and do whatever he wants, and nobody's gonna be like, "Hey, bro, where did you come from?" Like they're just like, "Yeah, yeah, he knows how to do this, he knows how to do that." Yeah, that's just a new guy. Like nobody cares, right?
Hmm.
Nobody could be like, "Hey, maybe he's a demon lord or he's a demon king. Maybe he knows these spells that nobody else knows, or he knows these spells that only the demon king used to know." Like nobody questioned it. That was such a big problem that I had with the show because the guy was just pulling things. He was legit, like just doing these spells, like he. I think at one point he teleported with another person, and the girl's like, "Oh my God, that's a teleportation spell. Nobody's ever done that since the old times. Why do you know that spell, bro? You look like a 20-year-old in the show. Like, there's no explanation. Like, of course, we know that he's the Demon King, right? Like, so we know that's where it comes from. But why are these characters so nonchalant about this guy knowing these like these forbidden spells? I don't know. Like that, I had such a problem with that. Like, it was such a problem with that part right there.
I think my
But
favorite example of that was like there was a giant like attack spell that was a giant beam that you needed like 5 people and then one conduit to release it, and he could just do it by himself with like one finger. And I was
right.
like, how is that not like a red flag to be like, all right, this dude is not like us, nowhere near like us if he could do this by himself with no like other people assisting him in the spell.
Like he's so overpowered. Where did he come from? Like is this the second coming of Jesus? What's going on here? Why is he so strong? Nobody cares. Nobody cares. It's just like, oh, it's another recruit. Let's just have him. Let's just have him sign up to the school. Who cares? So, huge problem with the show with that. But the thing, this show did this one thing that I was like, you know what, show? Okay, okay, show. Come on in. You earned a seat at the table. Go ahead. Get yourself some food. The Demon King. I think either he challenged or he challenged the other guy. I don't remember how they got into the fight, but it was one of his descendants was gonna fight him.
Hmm.
You remember the guy? The guy
I
with
think I
the
do.
I think he had red hair or like white hair or something. I can't remember how he looks exactly.
Hmm.
But like apparently he was like the main guy, the super strong guy out of everybody. Right? He had like a sword and armor. The
Hmm.
sword was on fire, whatever. Everybody's like, "Oh my God, that random new guy is gonna fight." Let's just call him James, 'cause I don't remember his name. He's gonna fight James. James is gonna mess him up. Like they were hyping that up, right? So like they were fighting or whatever, and then the this is the part. The Demon King said, he said, "Bro, I'm gonna win this fight without moving a single part of my body. I'm just gonna stand here and I'm
Oh.
gonna win this fight." And I was like, "Whoa, what is Demon King gonna do?" I mean, I already know he's super strong. We already know he's the next coming of Jesus or whatever. But how is he gonna defeat this guy without moving a single finger? Bro, listeners, beautiful above 18 listeners, under 18 stay in school listeners, listen to me. This man literally weaponized his heartbeat. His heartbeat. He he somehow beat the living crap out of this guy with just his heartbeat. His heartbeat was just doom 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 doom, and like the waves, I guess the sound waves from his heart went out and just whooped this dude's ass. Just like, and he was like, "Ah," and then like blood was everywhere. Like I was I was floored. I was astonished by this scene. I was like, the levels of animeism in this scene is through the freaking roofs. Only in anime you would see something as dumb and as crazy, as ballsy as this. To say this man beat this other guy with his heartbeat. Bro, he literally just stood there and just it was just living. He just stood there, just like was just thinking about, did I turn off the stove when I left the house? That's what Demon King was doing as his heartbeat was beating up the other guy. I could not believe it, Hector. I could not believe it. I was like, what
You're
did I just
honestly
watch?
not wrong. That was wild. I do remember that. That was just man.
It was bonkers. It was Cocoa Puffs crazy insanity. I don't know how. I don't know how else I could describe how stupid this scene was. And that's what and that's what won me over with this show. If this show this early in this in the show says, yo, check this crazy stuff out. Check what we got right here. Imagine what else they got up their sleeves. If this man beat this other man's ass with his heartbeat, I'm looking forward to see what else they got. I'm looking for. I want to know how. What is is a Demon King gonna be able to just launch his toenails at people? You know, like
That's gross. That is really gross.
I'm just trying to think some. I'm trying to think as crazy as they're doing. I don't know. Is like is the Demon King gonna shoot? Like he's gonna cry and his tears are just gonna like bullet projectile into people's skulls? Like what craziness could they get into? I'm waiting to see. So this is I'm gonna keep watching the show. I don't know if I'm gonna keep watching it all the way to the end
Mm-hmm.
because the only thing that got me interested in this show is how dumb and ridiculous it can get, and could that's a very I don't feel that's strong enough to hold a show through the whole season. But I'm on board for now.
Hmm.
That's Misfit Demon guy. Um, Decadence is number three on my list. This is a great show. The story building is amazing. The world building is amazing. This show does not play off the bat. Does not play. The uh, the way they set up their scenes, it's so well done. Now I'm gonna spoil a little bit of what happens. I've been spoiling the shows anyways, but still. Um, the main character I forgot her name is a girl is the girl.
Mm-hmm.
They show her when she was young, she was a kid, and she's like hanging out with her dad, and like there's like they're getting attacked or something, and there's this one scene I remember seeing this scene, and like they were showing her she was like grabbing onto something, and you see her arm like clearly her arm's just out there. And I was like, like that's interesting. Why are they showing off her arm like that? And next thing you know, like it was like an explosion or something, like something happened,
Mm-hmm.
and she's like laying down and then like and just I just love how they showed this scene because they didn't they didn't really focus on it, but she lost her arm
Mm-hmm.
in that attack. And then, like they didn't do the thing like, "Oh my God, where's your arm?" and "Oh, her arm's gone." Like no, she was just there, laid out, passed out, and she just had her arm just gone. I was like, "This show is real. This show does not play." Here's our main character as a kid losing an arm like that, and the world doesn't stop. Like the world's not like, oh my God, we have to see what's wrong with it. No, because they're in conflict. There's war going on there. She's not priority number one right here. Priority number one is to make sure that everybody lives, even though she did lose an arm. That right there was like, ooh, this show's gonna be good. Then it cuts to the main girl. She's older now. Not that older, but she's older. Like she has like a robotic arm,
Mm-hmm.
and she's trying to become a hunt. I think they're called hunters or warriors or something like that.
It's Warrior, yeah.
Warriors. So pretty much is that she wants to be the people who defend the I want to say the city, right? It's like a big ass like a big old city to live in.
Mm-hmm. It's like a
She
giant
wants to be one
mechanical
of the
city, yeah.
Yeah, she wants to be one of the defenders of the city, even though she's been assigned to be like a supporting class, pretty much, right? Because it's a supporting class, and then there's the fighting class. She wants to be the fighting class, but she was given she's on the supporting class, so she wants to transition over to that. Um, there there is a revelation. I think I think it's episode two towards the end. I don't want to talk about that because it's a really really cool. It's a really nice twist to the story.
Hmm.
So I don't know if you remember that, but
I think I'm starting to remember exactly what you're talking about. And yeah, that is it's kind of important. So I see why you don't want to talk about it. Yeah.
yeah, I don't want to bring it up. It's something you're just like, whoa, okay. Like this is just this show is already doing so well, building its lore, building the story, building the background for you, and then it's like, okay, you kind of get an idea what's going on, you get an idea of the world. Okay, now here's the twist. Now here we go. It's time for the main story. Great stuff. I'm really looking forward to this show. Um, the only reason it's not higher on my list is just because I can't have three number ones. You know,
True.
it's the only
Okay.
reason why. Okay, like for example, like if let's just say for example, Fire Force, which is spoiler, is my number two. If Fire Force was not in this season, Dance would have been number two.
Hmm.
Just saying that, right? Um, Great show. I cannot wait to see more about their show. Number two, like I said, right now, Fire Force season two. Great. I don't even. It's just it's good. Like it's good. I don't even know what to really get into. It's just like yeah, it's going great. I am loving it.
It's such a
I
great
that's
show.
all. I'm loving everything about it. I'm just it's Fire Force. I mean, if you're not already into Fire Force because we're already on the second season, like you need to catch up. That's all I
It's
gotta say.
so
You need
worth
to
watching.
catch up. The oh my god, the characters are great. You like these characters. The powers are awesome, and like and now it's starting to get some real deep stuff.
Hmm.
The whole thing with uh the possession. You know that with that one blonde lady like that came out
Oh
of nowhere.
yeah, that was. I think that was like
Like
the first. I don't know what pillar that was, or if that was just like a being,
I
but
think
like
it's the first pillar. It's the
okay.
original pillar. The original pillar shows up, starts messing things up, and then they're like, "Oh, there's gonna be a new pillar," and then there's a whole thing with that. Like, it's just beautiful. They hit the ground running with Fire Force. They said, "Okay, season one ended. This is what happened. Season one, episode one of season two. It's a little recap. Season two and onward, they full on sprinted out the gates. I'm loving everything about Fire Force.
Yeah, it's oh
Um,
man, it's so good.
and and I do agree with Hector. Side note, uh, this the original opening is still the best of season one. No, it has not been topped
You know what I will
until
say though?
this.
The closing, I don't know if you actually watched it, the closing, outro music that they have. I like the concept. I'm not a big fan of the song. I love that
Hmm.
they have like the little silhouettes like flying over the little highway, and like you see like
Yeah,
their house in the background, and they add like different characters. I think that is a dope visual. I just don't like the song very much, but other than that, I think the opening is kind of forgettable. The visuals for the closing is dope, but just in general, like season two of Fire Force is just phenomenal. I will say I don't like the newest pillar, the pink haired girl. Um, actually really hate her a lot, but
uh-huh.
it's developing. We'll see how things go. The newest episode
Yeah.
was fire, but I mean, I honestly can't say this season has missed. I don't think any episode has been below, subpar, below our expectations. Yeah, some I think maybe one or two kind of had like a little bit of a downward trend, but then it just bounced right back up like towards the end. So I mean, I don't know. I think this season two is definitely something to keep an eye on for sure.
Yeah, it's great show. Um, from there, my number one,
Ooh,
the one show that I'm sticking to
ooh.
like religiously, if I would say, is Rent a Girlfriend. This is my show.
Mm-hmm.
Like when I talk about girly anime relationship type stuff, this is it right here. This is what I mean. This is my thing. I'm loving this show. And finally, they're going to start introducing some of the other characters. We've been waiting. I know you brought it up yourself also, Hector. We've been waiting so long to see the other, because listeners, in the opening and all that stuff, they show four girls. It's the main rental girlfriend. I forgot her name. It's like starts with an M.
Mizuhara-chan. Oh my god, I love
Mizuhara.
Mizuhara.
She's great. She is best girl as of right now.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care what anybody says. I will fight them.
She's gonna stay best
Um,
girl. I'm gonna
um,
put money on that she's gonna stay best girl towards the end.
oof. I don't know, man. I don't know. These other two girls. I don't know. Um, Worst girl for sure is Mami Chan,
Mm.
right?
Mm-mm-mm.
The girl with the short hair, the little blonde girl. I hate her. She is a female dog. She is a Yeah, female dog. I was gonna say something else, but I feel like I'm totally cursing. And then there's a girl that is shown in the opening with the short blue hair,
Mm-hmm.
and then there's a girl with I think it's long red hair. I cannot wait to see how they are, how their personalities are. I kind of just by the opening, I kind of have an idea of how they're gonna be.
True, very true.
Um, so I'm really looking forward to that. I feel like honestly, I feel like I'm really gonna enjoy the girl with the blue hair,
Really.
how she has her characteristics, and the girl with the red hair, she's just adorable. I can already tell she's gonna be cute. She's adorable, just how she acts. I cannot wait to see what they're gonna do with that. The next episode, they're gonna introduce the girl with the blue hair. Um, oh my god, just trying to go. It's just such a great show. The opening's good, the ending's good. Do you know how in the ending song, they're cheering him on as he shakes a can because they're
Yup.
talking about
Is
it's him
yeah.
jerking off. I thought it was so funny. I was like, oh,
Oh my
this is so
god.
funny. Also, I spoiler for people who are watching Run a Girlfriend. I'm gonna talk about all the episodes here. So if you haven't seen it, if you want to catch up now. I think it was episode 5 that just came out, either episode 5 or episode 6. Um, the scene that I loved it. I thought it was so funny. Was the part where they were sending the main guy pictures from like the beach day or whatever,
Oh, I know
and
exactly
there
what you're gonna
was
talk about.
yeah, and then he got some pictures of Mommy Chan, and she was like in her bikini or whatever. And this man got horny. He started beating his meat. He's just sitting there and
Like
he
it
just started.
owed it money, brother. Oh my
Bro, he
god.
started going to work, dude. He just clocked in for work, bro. He was just going in. And then I just find it so funny that him doing that, that's how he realized that he likes what's your name again?
No, he doesn't
Mizuru?
like. He loves
Oh,
Mizuhara. He
loves
is
her.
in
Yeah,
love with
Mizuhara.
Mizuhara, and
Yeah.
that's how he figures it out. That he's like, oh,
Yeah.
I'm trying to fantasize about somebody else, but Mizuhara keeps popping up in my head as I'm trying to beat my meat. And then when he
Yeah.
finishes, he realizes I shouldn't tell her that this is the first step of me realizing that I'm in
This
love
is
with
yeah.
her.
Yeah. That was a really funny line. Like I shouldn't tell her that this is how I realized that I love her. But I mean the thing is like it was just a matter of time
hmm
before I thought he already feeling feelings like had already had feelings for her, which he did. This is just the moment where he really finally accepted that he had feelings for her, which was great.
hmm
Um, and they're also hinting at that Mizuhara also has feelings for him. They are dropping hints here and there about it throughout the show, which is great. We'll see how that goes. The whole thing with I love how they got set up by the grandmas. That was so funny.
That's true. Yeah, that was one of my
That was
favorite scenes.
Yeah, that was really great. Their interactions is just fun. This is a really fun show. I can't I can't wait. This is what I'm hoping for. I hope for that Mommy Chan gets her comeuppance. She
Hmm.
gets what she deserves. I hope that all this blows up in her face, and they treat her life, and they send her home. They send her home crying. I'm pretty sure it's not gonna happen
Mm-mm.
because of the type of show we're watching. Um, but that's what I'm hoping for. I'm pretty sure it's not gonna happen, but that's what I'm hoping for.
The way I see it happening is her trying to make a final move, on the main character, which I forgot his name, but he's gonna end up like saying something like, "No, I love Mizuhara." Like he's just gonna straight up say it out loud, and then go to her and have like this big, like comedic romantic, I'm gonna run after
Like
her.
he's
She's
gonna,
going on the train
yeah,
type situation.
he's
Yeah.
gonna propose his love to her, whatever. Yeah,
So
and
that's
she's
my
like,
guess
"Oh
on
my
how it's gonna
God,"
happen,
yeah.
and then Mami Chan's gonna be like devastated or angry or whatever. Um,
I feel like what's gonna happen is that the main guy, he's gonna somehow discover Mami Chan's accounts because you know how she blocked him and everything,
mhm.
and the reason she blocked him and everything is because she's talking smack about him. Well,
That
I don't
is
know if you
true.
saw
And
that.
yeah, and she was like tweeting out that she hated the girl or texting somebody that
Yeah.
she hated.
No, she's tweeting.
Yeah.
She's tweeting out. She was like tweeting like, "Oh, I can't believe he brought her around, and oh, who does he think he is? Oh, I think he already moved on." Like she was just talking mad smack about him,
She's literally
and
the worst. It's insane.
and the, and then and the main girl. So she blocked him so he can't see that, so she could still mess with him. 'Cause that's what she's doing. She's messing with him. Well, she's the worst. She is the worst. The worst.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I hope Mommy Chan gets her comeuppance, but I don't think it's gonna be in
It's
the
not gonna
way that we
happen.
want. All right, like I think it's
Yeah,
gonna
it's not
happen,
gonna
but
happen.
it's not gonna be in like this grandiose way where like she actually gets like bad vibes coming her way and stuff like that. But I think it's just gonna be some simple like he's like, no, I need to go tell Mizuhara how I really
Yeah,
feel.
it's gonna be like, yeah, forget you. I wasted my time with you. Goodbye, type of thing, and just kind of leaves her there. I'm assuming it's gonna be something like that for sure.
I just hate how she uses the fact that he's still a virgin against them. Like, hey, you want to come back to my apartment? Or, hey, I know we just we're at the beach episode type thing. And she's like, my apartment, or rather the hotel that I'm staying at, I'm on, floor 3, room whatever. Like, come by. I'm all alone. And I'm like, that's cool. But then the fact that the fact that he was gonna go pissed me off. One, but then two, with everything that how it happened in that episode, you're just like, dude, wow. Like it has such great story like progression throughout the entire episodes, and like I literally feel
Hmm.
like I'm hooked every minute as I'm watching.
Yeah.
And it's I
Yes.
haven't had that feel in a very very long time, and it's funny that it's an anime like this one, because like I said, this was gonna be the animes that I was just literally just gonna throw and be like, maybe I'll like this, maybe I won't, we'll see, we'll give it a chance. But I can honestly say this is probably out of like the newest shows that came out this season, this is probably my favorite. Then, and it's tied for with God of High School. I just like the premise of God of High School, but for sure 100% like I think this is my top number 1 for the season.
Yeah. This is my favorite show of this season, hands down. Um, the one I just want to talk about one more scene and then
Yeah, yeah.
move on to my next show. The show, like I already hated Mommy Chan, but the one thing that just like the final nail on the coffin type of thing is just like, okay, B word, you are done. You are dead to me. Is the part where they went to go pick up the main guy from, I think it was from the hospital or whatever, or maybe from the hotel. I can't remember the exact location. And he went up to the window. She's sitting there in the car, like in the back seat.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, "Hey, like sorry, I couldn't make it or whatever." And she just rolled up the window and just ignored him. I'm like, "Are you serious? This man literally risked his life to save someone who was gonna drown in the freaking ocean, and you're just gonna ignore him like that? Like, bro, like, okay, I understand. Well, I'm pretty sure she was not expecting him to show up at all, right? But let's just say that she was. Okay, understandable. He stood you up. Okay, yes, be mad, but please be understandable. He risked his freaking life to save somebody. Why are you being such a C word? You know what I'm saying? Bro,
Jesus.
I was just like, are
Um
you serious.
I feel like we read that scene a little bit different. I feel like she actually thought he was gonna show up. I think that she was just really mad at him because it was Mizuhara. Like if it was anybody else, it would have been whatever. But like I feel like because it's Mizuhara, she was like pissed, and like I think because like she wanted to just further, control him and just like use him and just be the C word that she is. But I mean,
I get that. Like that's what I'm saying. Like for me, I thought she was just trying to play him, right? Like I didn't think that he was. I didn't think that she expected him to show up. But like I said, let's just say that she did expect him to show up. It doesn't matter. Someone was going to die. Someone was going to die if he did not do anything. How self-centered, how entitled are you to see what happened and be like, nah, I'm good, and roll up the window and ignore him like that? You're gonna have to edit this out. You're such a fucking cunt. You're gonna have to edit that out. 'Cause I had to say it. I could not say it, Hector. She's such a fudging C-word lady. She is the worst. She is the worst. I have not been angry with an anime character like this in a long time.
I feel you on that one. I really hate anytime I see her on the screen. Like genuinely.
She could have maybe they could have maybe had her not be such a villain. Maybe they could have had some dimensions there and be like, well, maybe she shows some empathy towards the situation. No, she just said, "F you, you didn't show up. I'm gonna roll up the window on you." Even though you could have died saving someone, and if you didn't do anything, that person would have died too. Even though she doesn't like Mizuhara, does she not like her to the point that she wants her to die? Like, what is wrong with you? Are you a psychopath? Like, do you have no value of life? Like, I don't know. She's the worst. That's all I gotta say about that.
I feel you.
Whew, man. I did not think I was gonna rant about Mami-chan today.
I mean, honestly, it was worth it. I'm telling you guys, for those of you guys watching, it is definitely a very interesting type of show to watch. It's not something that normally viewers who aren't accustomed to or like have already dipped their toes in anime, it's not something that they would normally watch. But if you are kind of new to anime and you're thinking like, oh, the way they talk about this so passionately, and how much they hate this one character, if you guys are really interested in watching it, I feel like this is one where it's definitely a must watch of the season. It's such a great type of show, and just, I don't know, you might actually like this type of genre in anime, but it's worth it. And I know that the name is kind of goofy, but I'm gonna be honest, you're gonna find goofier type of anime shows and names and things like that.
Crazier stuff,
so
yeah.
like,
and
yeah.
And I feel like the biggest appeal about this show is that you're watching this guy who is naive, who's vulnerable. I think I said that right.
Mm-hmm.
Who is a guy who can easily be pushed around, and it's a situation I feel like that everybody's been in at a certain point in time where someone is trying to take advantage of him or advantage of you. Someone's trying to trick you and make you believe in a certain way, and he doesn't know what to do. He doesn't know if it is true or not, and then he has somebody else on the that could help him navigate through all this bull stuff. But it's like he's confused. He doesn't really know yet. So it's a very, yes, the premise is very goofy with the whole renting a girlfriend thing, but it's a very down to earth human story they're telling.
Mm-hmm. With a little bit of humor here and there, which is what makes it even better. And honestly,
right,
some of the scenes are great.
And it's funny, and there's some really funny scenes, but at the same time, it's a very personal story they're telling. It's a very human story they're telling of someone trying to take advantage of someone else, of someone trying to trick someone, and using something that we all know, that we all have experienced, love and emotion and things like that. It's a very like I said, it's a goofy premise, but the actual story they're telling themselves, it's a very down to earth story, just with a goofy premise. And I feel that's the reason why, for me myself personally, why I like this show so much.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I feel like that's probably the similar reason as to why I like it so much, especially with like, I don't know, you just fall for the characters. Like I said, honestly, my favorite character is Mizuhara. I just love.
She's great.
like every time she's on screen or any interaction she has with like just herself and the main protagonist out of the guy and like whenever they're around like the grandmothers and things like that. Like I said, she's just my favorite, best girl, 100%. And yeah, like it's just she's the best. I would say best girl of the entire summer 2020 season. And that's just like my bold statement.
I don't know about that one, cause
Wow. Oh, who would you put over Mizuhara? Now I'm upset. Who would you put over Mizuhara?
I
I want to hear
forgot
it.
her name, but she's in Fire Force. The
Are
what's
we
her
talking about
name?
the Cyclops gorilla or the
Yes, the Cyclops Gorilla.
Maki?
Maki. I love Maki so much.
I mean,
I love her so
Maki's
much.
definitely up there. I thought you were gonna say what was her name? The girl with the cat ears, Tamaki or whatever.
No, forget her.
I
I
was
don't
like,
like her.
man, you and your weirdo. No, I'm just
No,
playing.
no, 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 no.
You just like
Maki.
all the etchy scenes and the Lucky Ledger stuff.
No, I roll my eyes when those edgy scenes come up.
Oh
I
my
like
god.
Maki because she's like, just another side note. She's like she's a soldier. She's like she has like all these muscles. She's muscular. You know, she's not. You can't mess with her pretty much, right? She'll beat your butt. Any point, any time of the day, but at the same time, she's like this. She's super girly, and she's like fantasized about
Mm-hmm.
like romance and like the whole like knight in shining silver, like knight in the armor, saving the princess. Like all, I just love it. I just love how like she's like this person who will beat the snot out of you, but at the same time, she's like so in touch with like her feminine and girly side. Like I just love her character. It's just such a good girl.
Man, I felt so bad when Shinra in one of the scenes in one of the newest episodes when they were like shopping for the lieutenant. Uh
Yeah.
she was like he's like, why don't you wear dresses? And then Maki was like, oh well, I can't pull off a dress. And then like you see a scene of her just ripped and muscular and stuff, and I'm like, man, but like that's when you go hard. Like when you're normal, you don't look super muscular, and like when she's just normal, just walking around and stuff, she doesn't look super muscular. So like I feel like that's a fan service thing that people would want to see. Like I feel like so many people would want to see her in an actual dress and things like that.
Yeah,
But
sure does, yeah.
yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. She's by far my favorite girl in Fire Force, but I don't know, man. Mizuhara has my heart, bro. That's honestly the reason why she's
I don't
best girl.
know. I don't know. She's for me right now, she's number two. Mizuhara.
Ooh, Maki's that high up there.
Dude, since season one, she won me over. She was just the best.
I
I
just
don't know.
love that
She's
she
the
gets mad when
best.
she gets called like strong, and she thinks everybody calls
Yes.
her like a cyborg gorilla or
Yeah.
cyclops
So
gorilla.
she's
That
like,
shit's
yeah, they're like,
hilarious.
oh look, Maki's so strong. She's like, you called me. What did you just call me? She loses her mind. It's just because she's so insecure about it. It's great. It's so good.
The fact that
It's
her face turns into a gorilla, like an actual gorilla
yeah.
thing, is
It's
just
such a funny
hilarious.
thing.
There's such
Yeah.
great scenes
Yeah.
with her just there.
Yeah.
But yeah, actually, you know what? That being said, I have been seeing a ton of stuff all over, like, Twitter and TikTok and all over like social media, Instagram, things like that, of just how popular anime has gotten, and that kind of just brought up a huge topic, probably the hugest topic for this pod, that we're gonna talk about, and just how like the increase in popularity and like just how mainstream anime has gotten, and I think it's kind of crazy just how much support and pride people have behind just being an anime viewer or an anime lover versus like how we used to be when we were younger. Um, I know you kind of mentioned this before, but like for myself, I wasn't always outwardly open with what I've loved to watch, which is like anime and things like that. But back then, like it always felt like not kind of like a taboo thing, but just something that I just didn't want to be known as like, oh, he's the anime guy, like I was already known for playing video games, but then just adding anime to that was just that was just, I think that would have just added like way too much to it. So I mean, I just want to hear your
Mhm.
perspective. What do you think about like the whole everything, just popularity of anime and how things are now?
It's great. I love it that people are way more open with what they watch, specific with anime. I know just in general, like the whole geek culture, it's way more accepted now. But I really love to see that's what it is with anime itself, how much it's grown, how much it's really exploded over these years. Like you were saying, back in the day when I was getting into anime, um, I had a lot of trouble. really being like, hey, I like anime to new people, you know. I really mostly just bothered to this day I bother my friends about anime, but I really don't really seek out new people to be like, hey, you know, I watch anime and this and that and this and that. Even though in high school I people did get to know me as like the anime guy because I really took a dive into anime when I really got into it. Like I was drawing anime like and I was trying to come up with my own anime stories and like I was like full on weeb mode in high school,
Oh,
you know. And over time I've kind of pulled back on it, but I've always had trouble really going out there and saying, "Hey, I like anime" to new people, people who I don't know, because um, it, I don't say it's a stigma, but it kind of is. Like people kind of look at it weird. You know, I don't know how it is. It seems like it's not as much now, but back in the day, it would be like, "Oh, you watch anime? You like that stuff, huh? I don't know about that." You know, like for example, when when I was going to college, uh, years ago, I before I dropped out, I was taking I forgot what kind of class I was taking. I think I was taking a like a music appreciation class or something like that.
hmm.
I don't know. I was trying to get like a credit or something, and um, so everybody, so we had to bring up like a TV show or a movie or something like that that we really like the music of and explain why or something like that. Right, and I could have and I was thinking about anime to pick and stuff like that, but I ended up just choosing like a regular Western TV show I forgot what show it was, but it was an anime, right? And then there's this girl sitting in front of me who did choose an anime, and she brought it up, and I was like, no, no. I thought of something. This girl's crazy, dude. She's out here talking about how she likes anime and stuff like that, and then like everybody around her was like, "Oh yeah, that's so cool. Yeah, I watch anime too." And I was like, "Dang." I was so scared to talk about it, and everybody here was just they were just cool with it. Like they really didn't care, you know. So I feel like it's more something like something that got kind of stuck in our head almost, Hector. Like that people are gonna like look at us in a weird way when we talk about it, you know. I feel like it's something that got kind of stuck in our head about it because I feel like it's not even at that point. I feel like it's starting to like people are just like, yeah, sure, you like anime, not a big deal, you know, type of thing. But it's still something that I can't really let go. For example, also it's kind of weird because anime is such a big genre, and like well, such a big medium of media that anybody can enjoy.
Hmm.
So like I don't want to go up to a kid like to a 14-year-old like, hey man, you like anime? Like what that's gonna look weird, right? That's gonna look weird. Me going up to a kid, a high school, and be like, "Hey, I'm almost 30. I love anime." Like, no, right? Like
Yeah.
that's I can't do that, right?
Hmm.
For example, today I was working and I was I was at work and I as just to be very vague about my job, I go around to the whole city. I'm a vendor, so I go to stores and things like that. So I was going to this one store and it's like a store slash restaurant, and this one guy, he was wearing a straw hat like Luffy, like from One Piece. It was straight up. It didn't have like the One Piece logo. It didn't have a logo or anything. Like it was straight up the straw hat that Luffy wears. Like just like he was cosplaying as Luffy for whatever reason, but it just had the straw hat on. And I'm like, oh man, that's the straw hat from One Piece. I could have went up to him and be like, hey man, that's a cool straw hat. It's from One Piece, right? And talked about anime with him, whatever. I saw him. Like I turned to look at him for like a second, turned back, and then went to my car and left. I didn't say anything to him. I just acknowledged, "Hey, that's from One Piece," and left. That could be because I don't know. I also feel it's because I'm socially awkward, you know, especially with new people. You know, like with like I was saying with our friends. I can go on and on and on how much I love anime and oh you should watch this, oh you should watch that, blah 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 blah. Right? I can do that for forever and ever.
Hmm.
Or like another example, when we go to C2E2 or ASIN with the comic book and anime conventions here in Chicago, if I'm with one of my friends, with Alex or John or Nathan, whoever I'm with, I'm sticking next to him and be like, "Oh, dude, that's from this anime. Oh, that person just says this anime." Instead of going up to that person, and be like, "Hey, your cosplay, it's from this anime, right? I love it. It's great. It looks great." Instead of actually talking to the person who's cosplaying, I'm just bugging my friends and telling them what cosplay that person is wearing. So I feel like it's also against. Also, I'm working against myself because I feel like I don't push myself to really be out there with that. But also at the same time, it's like, should I really be out there kind of push myself to be like, hey, I love anime. Like if I was younger, maybe back in high school, maybe it's something I would have done more, even though I didn't. But I feel like now I'm too old to do that.
Yeah, I feel like that's like a huge age thing too. I will say I wouldn't consider myself socially awkward. Like I'm fine with like talking to new people, but at the same time,
I can
me
well, I can talk to new people. It's just like it just feels weird starting with anime,
yeah,
you know?
I wouldn't. And that's the thing. It's like
Yeah.
even me being as comfortable as I am talking to groups and things like that, and just getting to know people. I would never be the one to bring up the topic of anime. I just
Yeah.
feel like it's such a not weird, but that's the only word that comes to mind. Like it's such a taboo, weird thing to talk about amongst people that A, you don't really know that well, or B, you aren't sure if they like anime. And even then, like let's say I don't know. Let's say I find somebody who's kind of into anime, right? Or I don't know exactly the extent of anime of how deep they've got into it. And then as soon as I start talking about like the hundreds of anime that I've watched, like then I'm like, is this too much? Like I always feel weird
Yeah.
just talking about anime and just how much I do love anime. And I mean, obviously me and you love anime. If we've created a podcast about it and we talk about it like every week, but I just don't know either A, how to introduce it into the conversation, or better yet, B, I just don't want to because I feel like it's such a weird thing that like in my head I feel like I can't talk about anime because then it's gonna out me as like weird, like, and I don't mean that in any bad way because I absolutely love anime. I love, this is like my, it's not adult, but it's like my transition from like watching Cartoon Network like Ben 10 and things like that into like this is my transition into better things because I feel like anime is a better form of cartoons than what we used to watch back in the day. Although Hey Arnold and Rugrats and things like that, they're OG legendary. Fresh Prince of Bel-Air is not necessarily a cartoon, but just things like that. Like I just think that it's something that I really enjoy, and I feel like I should be proud of what I enjoy, but I could never be like the super openly weeaboo otaku people. Like I can't. I don't see myself doing that, and it is mainly because of how used to view it, where like I would have to not necessarily hide it, but I just didn't feel comfortable talking about it to other people. And then I
Right.
see my sister who she's 15 and I kind of got her into anime, but then when she went to school she's like, oh, like I have like 15 different friends who like anime and they're all from a wide variety of like races, religions, and like they all like different activities like sports and stuff like that. And how she like is essentially suggesting the animes that I suggest to her and then other stuff that she likes, and how like she goes back and like talks to other people about anime. But then it's so weird because it's normal for kids these days to rock the Hunter x Hunter shirts and the One Piece hats and things like that. But like back when we were younger, like dude, at least people in my neighborhood and people that I knew, you would never catch anybody rocking a One Piece hat or a Haikyuu T-shirt or like you know Hunter x Hunter, anything like that. Like you won't find them like anything like that. So it's really weird seeing how things are now compared to back then.
Which is it's great now
Oh
to
yeah,
hear that
totally.
that 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 the younger kids, the younger viewers, who can just openly talk about stuff like that,
Hmm.
like um uh with like that, I guess just because of us and we're the time that we grew up with anime, it still kind of had that stigma that kind of that people kind of looked at it in a weird way
Hmm.
because like we said in other podcasts before, like anime it tends to be associated with certain things that people don't look in a good light. For example, the whole thing with the technical porn thing, or like the thing where it's just really violent or it's very sexual. Like it's there's no in between. Even though we know that anime has so much more to offer than that,
Oh yeah.
right? So like it's always like, oh, for us growing up was like, oh, you watch that weird stuff, that weird Asian stuff, you know.
Hmm.
So like I feel like it's just something that unfortunately we weren't in an environment that was as open and as receiving as you know it is now, which is it's great that now people could talk about it, be open about it. But I feel like I feel like for people like us who are more older, um, our time has kind of come and went by with stuff like that, you know, unless we specifically look for it. A very, very specific look for, like, let's say, I mean, like we have the podcast here, right? And people who are listening could comment or could message us, and then we could have a whole separate conversation about anime on the side, which is great, right? Or like if we go to conventions and there's like maybe a panel or a booth where someone's doing something with anime, or you can talk to them about anime. Just like it, I feel like it's different. It's a lot more different now, and and I also kind of feel like we're a little bit more on the outsiders of things
Hmm.
of this kind of stuff because um uh even back in the day the anime kids hanged out with the anime kids, you know?
True. Very
Like
true.
there was always the group who was into anime and like that's the thing that there was the anime club or whatever. We didn't have an anime club in our high school. I wish we did. I'm pretty sure I would have joined it and maybe I had more anime friends or people who liked anime, but you know we didn't have. We had the only thing we had was video game club, which I actually got into anime through the video game club because someone
Oh
was
wow.
bringing it up in the video game club. But um, like it's either I feel like back in the day it was either you're all in or you're gonna be sitting on the outside watching it. You know, like that's what it was. Like either you're all into the anime club and all your friends are into anime
Oh, you
and
talk
you guys
about
are
anime and things like that. Yeah.
yeah you're walking around saying desu and kawaii and all that
And
stuff
itadakimasu at lunch.
and yeah then just going 100% all the way in.
Naruto running. Oh my
Nor
god.
exactly. You got the headband on and everything, and either back in the either you're all the way in, or you're keeping a secret that you like anime and just watching them have fun. Even though it's I'm not gonna lie, it's very cringe. But I don't know if I would have been cringing with them back in the day, or if I would have been anime running with them back in the day. I can't say for sure.
I can
I
honestly say I wouldn't have back in the day. Like,
I I feel like I might have. I'm pretty sure I would have been there in the middle with them, doing all the Naruto hand signs and that's kawaii. I feel like if I didn't have the friends that I have now, I feel like I would have found myself in one of those groups. And not saying it's a bad thing.
yeah,
It
yeah,
sounds
yeah.
like I'm saying it's a bad thing, but I like I said, for me, anime's always been kind of like an outsider type thing, a thing that for example, like with our group of friends, anime has always been kind of like my thing, you know.
Mhm.
Well, now it's now with you know now you got once you join the group of friends, now it's like it's Hector and Rafa's thing, right?
Mhm.
Like that has always been for me. Like Rafa has always been the guy who loves anime
Mhm.
with my friend groups, with my group of friends. Uh, and then you know, of course, we all like video games and stuff like that. But like, it's always been Rafa likes anime. Only Rafa likes anime. So it's for a long time. It's always really just been me telling these guys, "Hey, watch this. Hey, watch that." and slowly they are getting into it. Alex and John and them, as you guys know, when we had them on here, we talked about anime with them, but it's not like with you, Hector. With you, Hector, we can, as clearly as you guys are listening, we could have, hours long of conversation about anime. This is somewhat new to me because I really never had a friend or anybody I can really talk to about anime in this extent. A lot of times it was just me telling them, "Hey, watch this. Hey, watch that," and them ignoring me and telling me to leave them alone. So something that is normal now for people who like anime is somewhat new to me,
Mm-hmm.
which is good. It's good in general that people are more open with anime.
Oh yeah, no, I mean, I think the way things are now, I think it's absolutely dope. You see it in so much of social media and like actual influencers, either YouTube or recording artists or like actors and things like
It's
that. Like
all over. It's
it's
all over music.
incredible how widespread anime has gotten, and I mean sometimes it's a little cringe seeing how people use it for like clout and just to relate to the people. Um, I feel like sometimes people just use it as a like, oh, I like anime. Oh, I like anime too, and like they don't like they're barely at the scraping the top of the barrel. You know what I'm saying? Like they're not anywhere near the meat and potatoes of what anime is, and like they'll just watch the mainstream stuff. Like, oh yeah, I've watched Naruto. I like anime. Like just Naruto. That's all you've watched. And like Naruto is a great, phenomenal top 5 animes of all time. But like, dude, there's just so much to anime that like there's genres upon genres of just different stuff that you can watch, and like you can tell who's a true fan of anime and then who's just one of those who are just kind of using it for like, oh yeah, I'm interesting too, I watch anime. And that's my biggest problem with how anime is right now and in the world, just how easily people can say they like anime but aren't exactly anime viewers to the full extent.
Hmm.
For me though, see, the things I kind of had a different childhood than how you had it. Like you were at least able to kind of say, oh, watch this, you should watch this. But like for me, like I just would never bring up that I liked anime. The only people that I talked about anime with were my 2 cousins, and both of them kind of just got me into anime because they're like, oh, you should watch anime, you should watch One Piece, Gintama, and all this other stuff. And I'm like, okay, like yeah, I'll give it a shot. And even then, I was like, whatever. But then I remember they would they would have us over for like well, just I say us as like me and my siblings, but they would have us like, hey, we're gonna watch some like a movie or something, because we actually used to live in like a double apartment, so there was like a house upstairs and a house downstairs, and so I would go downstairs and watch a TV show with them, and then afterwards they're like, hey, so we're gonna watch some anime. Do you want to watch with us? And I was like, yeah, sure. And that's kind of how I started getting into One Piece and things like that, and I would only talk anime with them, and then they were actually super into manga reading and things like that, and I'm like, I was like, oh, that's kind of. I feel like at that time I was like, oh, that's too much. Like, I'll just watch. But like now, like I see the joys of like manga reading and all these other things. And when I was in high school, I couldn't exactly tell my friends because I went to a pretty smart high school for my first 3 years, and then uh, all of them were kind of nerdy in some kind of aspect. But I was not a part of like the true nerdy group. I was part of like the Hispanic group, and I felt like a lot of Hispanics didn't exactly like anime back then, or like just kind of always cringed at the thought of anime, and they're like, oh, like you're kind of a weirdo if you like anime, or they always had like a negative light on anime. So like I never brought it up to any of my friends, at least I don't think so, and especially like my one friend that I've had for the very very longest, which is in our friend group, Kenny. I don't even think I even talked to him about like anime either, at least back then. Um, yeah, I just don't feel like I was very open about it. And then now that I'm older and I have other people that I meet who are, also open minded, kind of like my friend Josue, who, comments a lot. I do, talk about anime every once in a while with him. And like he actually, watches it, but he's not like a super huge fan of it, but he does enjoy it. But it's like you just meet so many people like nowadays who, luckily, thank God, that anime is a lot more accepted, and people are a lot more open minded about it now. But like you can kind of not easily, but the conversation can come up of like, oh, anime, what do you like, what do you dislike, things like that. Like you can have a actual full length conversation about anime, like you said, kind of like how we have now with this pod and everything. So, and I've never really
Mm-hmm.
had this either, so this is a whole new experience, and it's really really dope to just be able to talk about, something we both love for X amount of time. But just in general, anime has become like so popular, and there's just so much support, and I just love seeing it on TikTok, on Instagram, and things like that. Like I love one of my favorite things, and this is such a weird thing to like, but on TikTok there's this trend where you have like a series of characters from an anime, and then you dress them up in like modern day like fashion, or of how we have like the fashion trends of today, or of like of our time right now. So like they'll have them in like baggy pants or like streetwear and things like that, and dude, some of them look so dope, both guys and girls. Like I just like the idea of how it's crossing into other platforms of like, likes and social media and things like that. Like just anime just being so prevalent in today is dope. I actually absolutely love it.
Oh, nice, nice.
But that being said, I think we've had enough of this topic. If you guys have any other, comments on this topic, if you guys have anything to add to it, please leave it in the comments down below. I actually want to hear if anybody has any similar, experiences
What's
to
their
what me and Rafa
experience?
has.
Yeah,
Yeah, and like
yeah.
just to hear any kind of your experience with anime, and if you were part of the anime friend group, or you were part of the anime club in high school. I don't think we had one in my high school, and truthfully, I don't think I would have been brave enough to join. But I'd definitely been one of those sideliners, like
I
being
would have
like,
joined.
man, I wish I could join. Like, man, I just felt like
I,
my high school was very judgy, in my opinion. But
I would
even
have. I
then,
would have for sure joined. I would have
uh,
for sure joined, and I'm pretty sure I would have ended up becoming the president.
I actually, you know what? It's talking about an anime club, right? Let's say there was a club for anime as us as adults. Would you join it right now?
Yes, I would.
Oh, me too. Actually, I would
Yes, I
love to
would.
talk to other people
Yeah.
about anime and things like that.
Yeah. I mean, I'm too old to care what people think about me nowadays. It's like
True,
why,
for
like.
yeah.
So yeah. I was gonna say, uh, yeah. Of course, like you were saying, I want to see. I want to hear what everybody else thinks. I want to see. I want to get some different perspectives from you guys out there, listeners. But also, Hector, I wanna bring up something so separate thing.
Mm.
It's a whole new thing I want to talk about. It relates to the anime that we're watching this season.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it's a show that we're both watching.
Oh,
I have few gripes with the show. You also have few problems with the show. I want to talk about it just a little bit, just a little
yeah, man.
conversation
Let's
about
dabble.
it.
Let's go in.
Okay, okay, great. So I was not really planning to watch this show.
Mm.
Uh, God of High School.
Ooh, okay.
I was not really planning to talk about the show. The reason why I gave it a chance really was because of you and the way you talked about it. I was like, you know what? Let me give it a shot. Let me see if I like it or not. I like it up
But
to a certain
ooh,
extent.
okay.
My problem with the show is that I feel like they're throwing too much at the wall and trying to see what sticks.
Yes,
But
sir.
what I mean about that is that okay, so the way that the show started, I was like, okay, cool, it's a fighting tournament, and these guys are signing up and they're gonna fight. Some of them are using swords, some of them are like the girl, she's a wrestler. This guy he's throwing kicks like Liu Kang or whatever. Cool, awesome, a fighting show. Tournament show. I mean, it's nothing new, nothing revolutionary, but cool. I'm about it. I'm ready to see some cool fight scenes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but then at a certain point, these characters are throwing out like energy beams and like energy waves or whatever, and like I was like, okay, so there more to this now, or like why are they able to do this? There's no real explanation. And then the point where I was like, okay, you guys are just you're going too far with this is where they I guess the stronger you are, the more you can summon a stand-like creature, like from JoJo,
Mm-hmm.
like a familiar type thing. I think they showed it maybe twice already in the show,
Mm-hmm.
if I remember correctly. At that point, I was just like, okay, what's going on here? Why could that guy summon that thing there? Like, if this is a thing in the show, why hasn't nobody else done it in the tournament? Or do you have to be a certain level to be able to do that? Like, I just feel like I just feel like it's just too much. It's just too much. These guys already have crazy fighting styles. They can throw energy waves at each other, like kamehamehas and stuff like that. And now they could summon JoJo stands and stuff like that. What's going on? I just feel it's way too much. I just feel like the whoever wrote the show said, "Well, I like fighting, so I'm gonna throw this in there. Oh, I like Dragon Ball Z. I'm gonna throw this in there. JoJo, can't forget about JoJo. Throwing that in there and just mixing it up and just putting whatever they want to put on those pages. I just feel like that's what it is, and that's the problem I have with this show.
So my gripes with the show is that the anime itself is not explaining a few things that they should be explaining. So, for example, in the first 3 episodes, they completely skipped about 5 to 8 chapters in the manga because I am reading the manga. So they skipped a lot of backstory for the 3 main characters that we come across, right? And their backstory is actually really important. It's extremely important for Jin Mori, and then for Dawe, which is the cool guy, the karate guy, and like it explains a lot for these characters. And I'm like, well, okay, we're 6 episodes in now. I would expect at least some kind of backstory for one of them, and we got one, but it was a very quick backstory. So I think that they need to kind of slow down the pace. I feel like their pacing is incredibly fast for an
Yes,
anime.
that's also yes.
But that being said, I mean the action scenes are phenomenal. The art
No,
style, everything, like it
they're
hits. It
great.
100%
Yeah,
hits.
when
But
they're
yeah,
fighting, it looks great. But like, another thing I have a problem with the show is that like they hyped up this tournament so much, and like even in the opening, it has like all these characters. Like, oh, this the guy with the baseball bat, the guy who's reading the book. That might be the same person.
yeah, that is,
The
yeah.
guy who has his arms like locked up when he kicks and stuff like that, and like they're gone within like the same episode they show up. Like what this tournament went by so fast. Like eh, and next thing you know, Jin Mori, the main guy, he already won the whole thing. And I understand it's just like the regionals or whatever. Like I
Hmm.
guess he's moving on to like a bigger tournament, which is great and all. But like the show did this, the show did this whole thing of pointing out to you like, hey, look at these characters. These characters are the ones to look at. These are the guys they want you to focus on, just to have them either lose off screen or lose within a minute.
Hmm.
What's the point? What's the point of building these characters up to you if you're just gonna toss them aside so fast? I thought that was really bad. I agree with you 100%. The pacing is kind of whack. It's going way too fast.
Hmm.
You need to slow down a little bit, okay? And I don't know if this is how it is in the manga. I also do not like that they didn't show the fight between the girl with the glasses and then the cool guy. I forgot his name. You just said it, but I don't remember how to say it. Um, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, Dawe, like when he's like fighting her one on one or
Yeah,
whatever. Yeah, they
yeah,
just
the
kind of showed just him
semifinals.
beat her up real quick, and that's it.
Okay,
Um,
because I honestly wanted to see that fight because they were building her to be like a badass too. You know, the
mhm.
girl with the glasses. I wanted to see what she could do, but apparently she wasn't enough to keep up with the other
Yeah, so
guys.
like the essentially the backstory for a little bit of a spoiler for you guys. It was during the wedding scene. I don't know if you've got that far yet.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah, so she got cut, and she decided to not go to like the nanotechnology to heal it. So she just went in straight in from the hospital with just regular stitches and whatever, to fight. And so basically, Dawe or whatever took
Oh, I
advantage
missed that
of that.
somehow.
Yeah, took advantage
Okay.
of that, and that's how he beat her up because she didn't get like any treatment on it. She just went in like at like 70% health, basically, like if video game terms, and just got her ass beat. Um,
Okay. I didn't I missed that somehow.
yeah,
Okay.
but like they talk about it in the following episode or later on in the episode, with where him and Mori fight. But that being said, though, like in the manga, or rather webtoon, because it is a webtoons original, they. So here's my thing. So with you saying like everything was crazy and they're adding all these crazy other things, I can genuinely say there's around 500 chapters out so far. I'm at 100. Actually, I'm really close to 200 right now. It gets crazier. There's like gods and creatures and monsters and shit like that get introduced one way or another. And I guess it's not really spoiling because it kind of explains it a little bit, but the persona type thing that they have, think of it as a power, not necessarily like JoJo-esque. Like it's like a power that they have, but they can manifest it in that kind of way.
I guess.
Which that is also like I don't want to. That's
still.
I'm just gonna say it. So essentially, it's called God points, and that's what GP is. So when you see on the wrist, it has HP and GP, and so when they have this aura around them, it's essentially them using power that they borrowed from God or a god, because it's like multiple gods. So this is a power that they borrowed from a god, so they can use his or her power.
But why does it manifest like that?
Because it's like, so he has Joker, which is like it's funny because they call them gods, but there, for example, there's like historical figures like later on in the webtoons you find somebody who has his god power, there you go, it's called borrowed power. So his borrowed power is literally Jet Li, or no, not Jet Li, Bruce Lee. Wow. And like, yeah, so his borrowed power is Bruce Lee. There's another one who has like one of the most famous, if not the famous, karate master, like an actual real life figure karate master, as his borrowed power. There's another one who has like like an archangel from Christian mythology, or is it mythology? I forgot. I don't know exactly the term to use it. Religion. Hopefully, yeah, the Christian religion, like an actual archangel. There's another one who has like a rhino, like an actual rhino animal as his borrowed power. And then they go into like weird things like Sun Wukong and Ganesha and things like that. Like people actually have like these crazy deities and things like that as their borrowed power, and they can use abilities of theirs with that and things like that. So it gets more interesting from here on out. But I will say the action gets like super crazy. Like there are scenes that visually look amazing in the webtoons art and things like that. So I can't wait to see how they release it in the like in the actual anime. But I don't know. Like the pacing is really, really fast, and I hope they kind of slow it down a bit and explain a little bit more of what's exactly going on. I'm guessing in the next few episodes we're gonna see him like, and by him I mean Mori and all them, like explain. I hope that they explain more of like what God points are and borrowed power and things like that. But I don't know. By the speed that they're going in, 100%, I could see them just like making a quick little overview of what it is and then just continuing with the show. So I don't know.
I hope they explain it, because that was just like, man, you guys are just, to me it felt like you guys are just throwing everything at the wall. You're just trying to see, like, they have this and they have that and they have this other thing going on, and they have this power and they have that power. It's just like, stop.
Oh, and they go to other dimensions too. There's like 3 different dimensions.
Oh my god! Hector, you are not selling me this show right now.
It's all over the place, but I will say it's a phenomenal show. Like it's a phenomenal webtoon. I'm very, very excited for the continuation of the webtoon, but I am crossing my fingers that God of High School continues to get like the love that it's getting, because right now it's a very, very popular anime in general, just from people watching it.
It is.
I will say the webtoons readers are very open about how they don't like certain things about the show, but overall, like the scenes I need to hit, like for example the twin dragon strike and like the 3-legged strike and all these other things that they're Jin Mori and all the other characters are doing, like they're popping off and they're popping off strong. So the stuff that needs to hit, it's hitting. I just want them to kind of take a breather, give me some time to understand what's going on in this world. Also, the one big gripe that I have with the whole thing is the God of High School tournament is not as important as they're making it out to seem. Like for a good portion of the chapters, it was hardly ever talked about, and then they come back and they're like, "Oh yeah, this thing is still going on, but it's a little bit different now, but it's still going on," and yeah. The whole premise of the show, which is the competition.
I don't know.
Like that part is meh.
I still like the show. Like I am doing a lot of complaining, but I still like the show. It's still a good show.
Mm-hmm.
I just feel like it's I feel like it's a little bit too much. It's too cluttered. I feel like they need to tighten things up a bit.
Yeah.
You know, with the storytelling and how these powers are being used or whatever. Hopefully that gets solved in the next few episodes. If it does, like let's say they explain the powers in a certain way that I'm like, okay, I can buy that. That's fine. I mean, like I said earlier today, I was gushing over a guy who beat another guy with his heartbeat. You know, I'm willing to accept crazy things, especially with anime, right? I just need it to be explained in a certain way that could make sense to me.
Yeah, I mean, and I feel that. You know what, man? But with that being said, actually, this is perfect because we're talking about a webtoon, we're talking about an anime, and I actually wanted to suggest a webtoon / manga to our viewers because I know we normally talk about shows and manga, and I always bring up that I like to read stuff. But there's actually this one that has skyrocketed to the top of my charts of something I cannot wait to read every week. And they had taken a break recently, and I just found out that they had released 3 episodes, and I didn't even know that they continued updating the manga itself because it was on a big hiatus. The creator wanted to take a break, but it's called Solo Leveling. Essentially, what the manga is about is a character who there are multiple dungeons in the world, and you can either become a dungeon crawler type person who goes into the dungeons and tries to get a fame and fortune out of doing clearing dungeons, and each dungeon has like a ranking system, so essentially kind of like a video game, right? So you can become an S tier dungeon master and clear places, like for example it's one dungeon is like essentially hell, and you have to clear that dungeon and then fight the boss and whatever. So all these monsters drop like crystals, and each crystal is valued at a certain price, and when you go back to the quote-unquote real world, you can sell them for a price, and they're used for like weaponry and materials and things like that. But it revolves around one main character who is really, really dope. So he goes into this dungeon, and it just goes awry. It just completely goes terrible. The entire group that he's with gets slaughtered for the most part, and there's only a few survivors, and the survivors are have this traumatic experience, and they don't know how they got through said experience. And you find out that the main character actually gained a power that nobody else has. He has the ability to surpass his limits in the form of the video game-esque type thing where like I need to level up to level 100, and I have these levels where I can attain different things. And there's this really cool thing that I haven't seen before where the HUD, like the AI that he sees through his eyes when he is activating these powers, it says, hey, we're gonna issue a challenge every day, and if you don't complete it, something bad's gonna happen. And when he first has these powers, he's like whatever, bro, like this can't be that bad. And so the challenge is run 2.4 kilometers, right? Run for 2.4 kilometers, do 1,000 push-ups, do 1,000 sit-ups, do 1,000 jumping jacks. And you'd think like, oh, whatever, right? That's weird. Why would I want to do that? So then he doesn't do it on the first night that he gets it. And instantly, once the timer is up and he hasn't completed the task, he gets teleported to this other world where these giant monsters are chasing him for 24 hours, and he has to survive for 24 hours. And once he's done, it goes back to the real world, and he's like, this is the type of bull jive that happens when I don't do the challenges. So he's like, imagine how worse it could get. So every time he has to do these challenges to complete them. And what it's actually doing is physically helping him to like gain strength, gain, these crazy abilities and things like that. And he's like this OP character, but you don't know it until later on, and like it's insane. It's such a great read, and I'm not even joking. It's by far one of my favorite. It has 113 chapters right now. I highly suggest guys getting into it. By far one of my favorite reads ever of manga, of webtoons, of anything, and it's the number one ranked webtoon slash manga right now. It has 3.1 million views currently. At least on the site that I read it on, which is called sololevelingread.com. It is a free website, so do that with what you will, to read the manga. And it gets updated pretty frequently and regularly, so it's one that I trust a lot. Very, very excited to continue reading this. And I'm trying to put you guys on because trust me, this is one of the type of mangas that you want to get into. It's very actiony. It has some hints of romance in there, which is kind of funny considering the tone of the entire manga itself. But it's worth the read. I highly recommend this one very, very much.
Okay, okay. It definitely looks like one of those webtoon manga that will turn into an anime.
I
It
do.
has
Everybody's super excited about it. They want this to happen.
it has that feel to it. That I was looking that up right now as you were talking. It has that feel to it. I was looking at it. Yeah. Okay. Nice. Thank you. Nice suggestion. Good suggestion.
But you know what? Just because I'm telling you, trying to put you guys on, right? I'm trying to put you guys on to some manga, some webtoons. I know, Rafa, it's kind of getting a little tired. You know, we're at 10:26 p.m. and
Uh,
oh, I'm getting so sleepy. But Rafa, I just wanted to know: do you have a slept-on anime for us this week?
of course, I have a slept on anime
Oh
this week. I
my
always
god!
have. Oh my God, that's the one thing, Hector. Being into anime for so many years, I've seen so much anime, and I pretty much almost everything that I've seen, I'm pretty sure has been slept on. So this week, for all you beautiful listeners out there, I have a very good slept on anime picked out for you guys. It is called. Hopefully, I don't know. I don't know how. I'm pretty sure this is slept on anime. It's called Silver Spoon. I don't know if you heard about this anime. Have you
I
heard
have
about it,
not. I
Hector?
mean, it sounds familiar, but I don't think I have.
Okay, right. So this anime is a slice of life anime comedy, and it's about this main guy. I don't remember his name, and I'm very bad with pronunciation, so what's his name? But in a sense, he pretty much joins a high school where they're learning how to farm pretty much. It's a high school for farming, like for art. How you say it? Agriculture, right? Did I say that right? You know what I'm talking about, Hector?
I think so, and I think you said that right.
Hopefully I did. But pretty much it's like a high school teaching you how, how to farm, how to take care of animals, what what seeds or what you need to plant and how to take care of them. Pretty much just preparing you to be a farmer. And that is pretty much the premise of the show. Is this guy who goes to this high school to learn how to become a farmer. He's not like really like 100% into it at the beginning, but like over time, he starts to really enjoy the process and really getting his hands dirty and stuff like that. There's the cast of characters. They're really funny. They're really nice, entertaining characters. Like they all have their own reason, their own agenda of being there. Like for example, one of them is um I don't remember exactly, but like I think she's like the daughter of like this big like farming company. Like they produce milk or something like a big dairy product, I think. And she's gonna be and she's in line to take over the company. So she is going to this high school to get ready to prepare herself to be able to take over the company, to be able to keep up with milk, the cows, and all that other stuff. It's a very funny anime. It's very down to earth anime because it's not super silly. It's not really. Uh, Nothing really crazy happens. It's just these kids who are in a who are going to high school. It's a different type of high school because it's farming and things like that, you know. But it's a really nice watch. It's a very chill watch, you know. You know, you like these characters, and you root for them. You want them to succeed, and you're upset and you're sad when there's conflict between the characters because they, you know, you want them to be friends and things like that. It's a very it's a good watch. It's a good watch. I think there's two seasons out right now. Um, it's if you're looking for like a different style of slice of life anime, if you like slice of life and you want something a little bit different, a little bit that's more out there, because like I said, it's not it's not, you know, high school girls hanging out at a club room playing music or being idols or whatever typically happens with slice of life shows. It's, you know, uh, it's not just high school girls. It's there's guys, there's girls, all types of characters hanging out, learning about being farmers. And it's really cool. It's really interesting how they kind of show you. They don't really go into detail, but you kind of see like the process of what they do and on a farm and things like that. It's a really fun watch. It's something different. I recommend it. I feel like not a lot of people know about this show, and it's a good watch. It's something, like I said, it's something different. It's something that, you know, not a lot of people know about, and I feel like more people should know about this show because, like I said, it's an anime that you normally don't see. I feel like with certain animes that decide to, you know, do something more riskier, something that's more out there, and they do a good job with it. I feel like people should pay more attention to that. For example, like this. How often do you hear about a slice of life farm high school anime? Right? Like never. You never hear something about this, you know. But of course, you've heard multiple. I've brought up multiple slice of life shows that deal with, you know, high school girls hanging out in a club room, goofing around, right? So like, this is something different, something very unique, but it still holds up. It's funny, the story's great, the animation is nice. It's a really good show. I hope people give it a chance.
Yeah, that sounds definitely different. An anime show about agriculture is crazy, but
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's definitely slept on because I don't think, like I said, I think I've heard of the name, but I honestly now I'm confused because I don't think I've ever heard of an anime about agriculture. So that sounds really cool. I mean, thank you for that. That it's definitely for sure in the truest form they slept on anime.
It's a good show, man. It's a good show. I hope
Whew.
people will check it out.
Well, you know what? Speaking of good shows, right? We have our final topic of the day. You know, we come back always to this, and this one's going to be a very special one because we get to talk about the shows that our boy John from the previous episode suggested to us. I think it's time we get into anime swap, don't you think, Rafa?
Oh, yes, I do.
Baby,
This stuff
baby. Now we
is
know that that is us swapping anime, not shuriken. Sorry, guys. You know that was just my
It could
mistake.
be
But
both. It could be both. We're swapping anime as we throw
oh,
shurikens.
okay. Oh, okay. The anime is stuck on the shurikens as we throw them. Oh, okay.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, yeah.
Oh, okay. But that being said, John last time gave us both two different. Well, he gave me two. He gave you one. Suggestions for animes to watch. And honestly, I'm super excited for this one because I want to start it.
Okay.
I gotta admit, we're gonna have a first for anime swap.
What is it?
I finished the first season of No Game No Life.
Wow, you watched the whole thing?
I completed the
Wow.
entire season of No Game No Life. Let me just make sure I am saying the right,
Yeah, no
show.
game
It
in
is No
life.
Game. Yeah, okay. But yeah, I completed the first season. When John said I was gonna like this, man, was he spot on. The first three episodes, truthfully, the first two episodes, uh, hooked me. I was like, man, dude, this is dope. And I remember, the way this kind of worked out, where I ended up watching the entire thing, was he suggested we recorded the pod on, I believe it was like a Monday, right? For that episode.
Sunday.
Oh, it was a Sunday. Okay. It was a Sunday and
morning.
The week after, I was told that, hey man, you don't got to come into work until the Wednesday or whatever. So I was like, okay, cool. Well, all my other animes that I normally watch were already done. I had to watch Pokemon Journeys and all that stuff, and I was like, all right, well, I guess I'll finally get into. Might as well just watch the anime that John recommended me right away. So I watched episode 1, I watched episode 2, and I'm like, man, this is actually pretty good. So I watched episode 3, and then I watched episode 4, and then 5, and I'm like, nah, it's already like 1 a.m. I gotta go to bed. So I go to bed, I wake up in the morning, and then like I said, I got that text saying don't come to work anymore. So I was like, well, bruh, I did want to continue this anime. So I ended up watching the entire 7 episodes of the rest of that day, and finished the 12 episode season. Man, dude, I'm excited. I hope they make a season 2. I see why people are asking for it. It's dope. I love the 2 characters. I think there's some weird ecchi scenes when it comes to both of them. By the way, they're siblings. It's the older brother and a younger sister. So there's weird ecchi-ish scenes. And it's funny because essentially the big brother is a virgin, right? And his little sister, she is 12, I think. And he says that he doesn't need any girl, that he only needs his sister, but he means it in a loving way. He doesn't mean it in a sexual way. But anytime he has the opportunity to have intercourse or have connections with a woman, his sister makes a joke about, like, I thought I was all you needed. And then one scene specifically, it's cringe, but one scene specifically, she says that, and then he's like, oh my god, and then he runs at her at like full speed and then does like the I'm sorry pose. You know how like when they kneel down and their hands are down, he's like, I'm so sorry. Like it's hilarious. It's like this goofy ass scene where he just goes and apologizes. He's like, you really are all I need in this world. Like, I don't need any woman but you. And then there's another scene where essentially the sister is rooting for him to have intercourse and things like that. It was hilarious. Like, their dynamic is just funny, and the fact that she's actually the little girl's very, very smart for her age, and the guy's very, very smart as well. Like, they can't be beaten in any game. They always think like 3 steps ahead of other people, but the way they use their logic and understanding of games in general in a world where technically everything's against them because they are up against magic and things like that, but humans don't have the ability to use magic or have any connection to magic, so they can't use it. So they just use like in our world it'd be like card counting and games that, you know, involve a deck of cards, or like essentially forms of cheating. But in that world, if you get caught cheating, then that's like you automatically lose the game. And it high risk high reward type games where it's like one of them was, if I win, I get everything you own and you belong to me. But if I lose, I'm eternally your slave and you can do whatever you want with my life. So like these games are like intense, and it's like, for example, over like a game of darts or like chess, and like the chess pieces are like unique, kind of like the Harry Potter chess pieces where they can move and stuff. Like the show itself was just super, super interesting. Like I said, it's literally a first ever on the show because I completely watched the entire season, and I kind of looked around. I don't think they're going to make a season 2 anytime soon, but I kind of hope they do.
It's forever and ever and ever people want a season 2.
Mm-hmm. And I can see why. Like, I actually really, really enjoyed it. Like, I was very, very surprised at how it was and how it went. But yeah, I mean, I'm super down for a season 2. So that being said, I love that show. 100% is a show I'm glad I ended up watching. So thank you, John, for that one. And now to one that, you know, I wasn't a big fan of. Granted, it's 2 minutes, right? It's a 2-minute show. I had Wacky TV Na Na Na, which is the show about bananas. Like I said, they're 2 minutes long, but I just hate the premise of the entire show. I think it's dumb. I laughed here and there, I will admit. But it's not something that I was very happy watching. I was the one shining light to the entire thing is that it was 2 minutes long.
Oof. Oh,
and that's about it.
oh
So
my God.
I was in torture for 6 minutes because that's all I had to watch. Thank God for the 3 episode rule. But dear God, was this like such a weird thing? Like one of the scenes in the first episode that I watched of like I think it was season 3, yeah, was like there was a scene where on the TV show, because again, like John explained it, it was these 3 bananas who are trying to film a TV show type thing. There was a commercial where like the women bananas were like in bikinis and stuff, and I was like, what am I watching, dude? Like there was just so much going on in this show. Um, the 3 main characters, they were okay, I guess. I don't know. Like I was just super. It's like one of those shows where it's like, man, I don't want to watch this, but I'll watch it. I kind of had to, like, homework, and
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I don't know. It was 6 minutes. That's the best part about it, but it's all right. I'm not gonna continue watching
Jeez.
it. I'm not gonna continue
If
watching it, but it was all right. I could see
if
why, but nah, not for me.
if the only highlight that you have of the show is that it's only 2 minutes long, jeez, that says
Look, if
so
you watch
much.
it, I feel like you'd like it, and it's because it has dumb humor that I am not about. It's just like some of the dumb humor that you've told me in the shows that you've suggested before, but like, nah, man. Like for me, just that type of dumb humor just does not hit.
Maybe I have not seen the show. I was like, John didn't suggest to me. I'm not gonna watch it. It looks stupid. I'm not gonna do it. But maybe you should just get a better sense of humor because
Well,
the
I knew you were
shows
gonna
that
say
I
that.
suggested are top tier. And by the way, I am offended and appalled that John suggested you a show that you watched all the way, but all the amazing S tier Hall of Fame shows that I suggested to you, you haven't even finished. I'm hurt. I'm hurt.
You
I'm hurt.
also suggest shows that have 24 plus episodes, and this was just a one just breeze through. Granted, I could probably breeze through 24 episodes. That's kind of a stretch of an excuse,
That is
but
that is an excuse right there.
but No
I'm
Game
hurt
No
now.
Life is in my wheelhouse. So I don't know if he was planning to have this for me, but that was dope. I really enjoyed watching it because, like I said, it's in my wheelhouse. It's the type of shows that I watch where it has a pretty decent premise. I will say the premise is kind of okay at most. It's pretty good, but it's not something to like run home and tell mom about.
I'm
Which is
hurt.
such a weird phrase. I
K-On.
wouldn't put. I'm not gonna put it above K-On. I actually really like K-On, but it's the
Death
one show I've
Parade.
actually finished. Death Parade, I'm close to finishing. That's the closest one I am to
Hurt.
finishing.
Hurt. I'm hurt. Okay, you've hurt my feelings. But anyways, I'll stay strong. Okay, I'll hold my tears back from crying, from crying, and I'll talk about the show that I was
I'm
given to by
super
John.
interested to hear this. Go ahead.
It is called Akami ga Kill, right?
Akame ga Kill, yeah.
Uh, Thank you. This show is awesome. I from episode
Wow.
one, I was like, this show is cool. Now, not a big fan of the opening and ending song. This is for sure one of those anime that I'm gonna skip those, and it's rare for me to skip both of them because I tend to like most anime opening or ending songs for different reasons. But for me, this is like that very generic, rock anime and like the showing the characters, whatever. It didn't catch my interest. For sure, I can skip those, but that's nothing against the show. The show is top notch. Now, let me say this: the main guy. At the beginning, I was like, this guy is too cocky. This guy is too much. He looks like a nerd. I am not sold on him yet. By the
Uh,
end of episode one, I was sold. Okay.
really?
Yes, because oh man, episode one, like, dude, I legit when I finished episode one, I legit called John and told him how much I loved episode one. I stopped everything. I called him like, dude, I just finished episode one. It was crazy. This, that. I loved it. I can't wait to see the next two episodes. So, let me talk about why I love episode one.
Talk to us.
Okay. Okay. Episode one. They do this thing. They kind of flip things on you. Because so the main guy he gets to the main like the main city capital area or whatever, right? And he wants to be the best of the best, right? It's a plot point that we all know of, that we have heard before in different shows. He wants to be the best of the best. He wants to get enough money to save his village because they're like super poor or whatever. Him and he has two other friends that went on the journey with him, but they ended up getting separated, and they said that they were going to meet up at the capital. All right, cool, sounds good. He gets there. He's like, hey, I want to, he wants to join the army. I think I forgot that was the main reason or what he was trying to do.
Yeah.
But he runs into this big titty girl. She's cool, by the way. I like her a lot. The cat girl. Um, and she's like, "Hey, man, I got the hookup. Just give me your money, and I'll help you out." And then this guy, like an idiot, gives her all his money, and she just leaves. Like there's no receipt. Like there's no like, "Hey,
Just
follow
straight up
me."
robs them.
She just leaves. She just leaves with his money. And dude's just sitting there like an idiot, like, "Huh? I wonder when she's gonna get back." Like, bro, she's gone. She's not coming back with her money. So the dude gets jacked for all his money. So he's on the street like a homeless man. Like, I guess I'll just lay here on the middle of the street and sleep, and I'll see what tomorrow brings. So then there's this lady shows up, and she's like in a carriage. You can tell, she has money. She's like, "Hey, buddy, you here on the street? Come with me, stay the night at my house, and then we'll go from there." And dude's like, all right, sure, whatever. So he goes, and it's a very rich family. They have money and they have food, and they're like, hey, what do you want to do? Guy's like, hey, I want to be the best of the best. I want to, make money to save my village. Then the dad, the rich dad's like, all right, I hear you, my homie. I know someone in the army. I can get you in, pretty much. So the same thing with the cat girl told him, but this guy seems like he has connections because he's really rich. So then the main guy, he goes off and hangs out with the girl that rescued him. She's like buying stuff, and like so then one of the guards tells him like, bro, like this place is not as what it seems. It's corrupt. Like the guy who's ruling everybody, it's the minister. It's not the actual king. Like he's a bad guy. Don't believe what people tell you. Like it's messed up around here, pretty much. And then he's like, and like the worst of the worst, there's this group out there called the Night Raid, and they're running around killing anybody and everybody, and like especially if you have money, if you have power in some sort of like in the hierarchy or whatever in the capital, they target innocent people. Watch out, stay away from them. Okay, cool. The show's setting it up. Hey, these are the bad guys. You stay away from the bad guys. I was like, okay, I'm on board. I understand what's happening. Cool. So later on in the night, um, the you see the mom. She's talking about. She has like a little book thing. She's like, oh, what another thing, or whatever. She says some line or whatever, and next thing you know, she gets cut down, like cut down. Like one of the night raid shows up, the bad guys, and the main girl, the girl with the black hair, with the long black hair, she messes the mom up like crazy. Like she does like a one like straight like slash attack, and she gets cut in half, and her arms are like flying in the air. She gets messed up. And when I saw that, I was like, yo, this show is violence. I did not see that coming. Like it was so violent. It was
Oh,
crazy.
it's gory.
It was crazy gory. And then like dude's like, oh, what's going on? So he runs out or whatever. And like you pretty much see the family get killed pretty much, right? The mom and dad. And then like the one thing I'm like, no, this show is so anime. It's such an anime show. Is when like the main guy's looking out the window, and then he sees the night raid standing like on the wires, and they're all have like different poses or whatever. You remember that scene?
It was one of the best scenes ever. But yeah, that is very, very anime.
That was so anime. Like, man, this is so anime. But I loved it. I loved it. And then, so then you find out. So then, so then the main guy chases after the girl that saved him, right? She's like, "I'll protect you," or whatever. And then, she's with the guard, and the guard's like telling her, like, "Hey, go into the shed over here. You, you'll be safe here." Right? So then the girl with the black hair, she shows up and she's like, "Hey, main guy, get out the way. You're not the target. I'm trying to kill that girl and the guard over here. They're my targets. Don't get in my way or I will kill you." And dude's like, "Bro, if I'm gonna be the best of the best, I can't let you kill this innocent girl." Right? So then it's like, then they're like, "Oh, really? They're not that innocent. Take a look what's in the shed." I'm like, "Oh my God, what's in that shed?" Right? So then they open the shed,
Mm.
and then devastation. These rich white people, these with the white folk
Wow.
torturing people. The so what they were doing is is that with the girl, she would find homeless people, legit, just homeless people, people on the street, like, "Hey, come on back, we'll take care of you. You have lunch on us," right? So then the homeless, well, of course, the homeless guy's gonna be like, "Oh yeah, sure, man, lunch sounds great. I can, I'm gonna have a bed to sleep in. Great." So then, they take them in, and then they take them to the shed, and then they torture them until they die. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Horrible things. Horrible, horrible, horrible. Only rich people would do something. Only rich white people would be doing stuff like this. So, um, so then and then you notice with the main guy is that his two friends were in the shed. One of them was this girl. She had like a little flower thing in her head. She just straight up was dead. She was like hanging from her arms, just dead. And then his homie was in a cage, and he's like, "Bro, they captured us and they tortured us, dude. And like, bro, like, you gotta get them, bro. You can't let them get away with this, right?" So then, that at that point, the show flips it on you, because this whole time you're thinking that these rich white people are the good guys, and the night raid were the bad guys out here killing innocent people. But in actuality, it's the night raid are going after people who are corrupt, people who do messed up things, just like this family who are torturing people, right? So then, like the girl, the evil girl, the one that she was getting chased, she was like, "Yeah, yeah, we kill people because y'all are trash, and you guys ain't worth to be living, because you guys are below us, and just rich people talk, right?" And she looks crazy and everything. So then they were gonna kill her, right? The night raid people. But this is right here. This is right here. This is the point, Hector. Where I was like, "This is my guy right here.
Year.
This is my dude right here."
Uh-huh.
He, the main guy's like, "Hold up, y'all. Don't hurt her. Leave her alone." And I was like, "Bro, you better not let her go. She killed your homies. She literally killed your homies, and she was planning to kill you too. They were gonna torture you, my guy. Yeah, it doesn't matter how cute she can be. She was gonna mess you up, my dude. Don't do this. Don't do this, because typically, like I was saying, just like with Goblin Slayer, I was saying they typically do that thing where, like, "No, guys, don't hurt them. We'll figure something else out," right? That's a thing that some of these heroes tend to do, right?
Mm-hmm.
My man right here channeled his inner Goblin Slayer and said, "Not today, ho." And he sliced her up, bro, in one swoop,
Oof.
one one motion. Whoosh, cut her in half, my guy. I was so hyped. I was so hyped. I was like, "This is my show right here." This man said, "You hurt my friends. You pretty much endangered my village, because now how am I supposed to get money, because my homies are dead? How are we gonna do this?" So he said, "F you, girl. I'm gonna kill you," and he kills her. That was such a good episode. Such a great first episode. I was hooked right there. Episode two, in episode three, you see him kind of get involved with the rest of the group, with the rest of the night raid. He goes on missions, things like that. Um, my favorite characters as of right now is the cat girl. She's cool. I like the pigtail girl because she's definitely a tsundere, hands down.
Hmm.
You can tell she's a tsundere, and I love tsunderes. That's like my favorite type of character when it comes to from girls. She's definitely tsundere. I love it. And the big guy, and he's gay. I found that so funny. I found that so like yeah. She's like when the main guy gets introduced to the big dude with the armor, and she's like, "Oh yeah, by the way, he's gay." It was like, "Okay, sure, yeah, why not?" And it was just such a non thing. Like it was so funny, like because like of course they do make jokes about it like later on about it, like like the guy's like he dreams about him or whatever. He's like, "Oh, what am I dreaming about him for?" Stuff like that. But they're not making it. They're not making a thing that typically a lot of anime do, where they're like, "Oh, he's gay." They look at him weird and stuff like that. Uh, some anime have done that before. I don't know if
Hmm.
you ever noticed that.
Yeah, I've seen that
Where they could,
before.
I love that they're not doing that with this. They're just like, "Hey, yeah, he's gay. It's just part of who he is. Not a big deal." I love that's a thing,
Hmm.
and he's also great. His character he's funny, so charismatic. It's a great stuff. I'm really enjoying these characters. The main girl with the black hair, she also has her funny moments.
Hmm.
I also like how the main guy he 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 backs up what he says. I like that a lot. I like that he backs up what he says. Like he pretty much like goes, they give him this one mission like, "Hey man, you gotta go kill this one guy," and he goes like, "I can do it," and they're like, "Are you sure? Can you do it?" He's like, "Bro, I'm gonna mess this guy up." He messes the guy up. He does what he says. I love it. He talks the talk. He walks the walk. I'm all about this show right here. Thank you, John, for this suggestion. I cannot wait to get back into this show. I'm all about it. I can't. And what John was telling me is that it gets crazier from here.
Hmm.
I saw the first three episodes. John's saying it gets crazier from here. Sounds like you agree with him. I cannot wait where this goes. I
The
cannot wait to see where this goes.
I think it flips gears around like 8 or 9, episode 8 or 9. Yeah, it gets crazy. Maybe like 10 actually, episode 9 or 10. But it still it like changes gears like out of nowhere. And it's pretty dope. Your perception of certain characters gets changed. It's dope. I really really enjoyed that show when I watched it. Ooh, like a long time ago. But yeah, it was a great show. Very 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 good anime for sure.
Um, I'm all about it. I am strapping myself in. I'm ready to go. I can't see what the show else what else it has in store.
The only sad part is
All
I don't
about
think there's a continuing season afterwards. Like that's all you get. I don't remember if it finished off on like a good enough way to just be like, oh, we don't need a second season. But I don't really remember that part. But yeah, I think it's only one season.
it. Okay, well, either way, I'm ready. I'm ready to see what happens.
Oh man, but I mean, hey, you know what that means, right? We're on to the next part where we've talked about what we got recommended from our guest John, and now we get to recommend something new for each of us to swap out from myself to you and you to me. So I think with that being said, I'm going to start off real quick, right? I was considering what to give you because, there's a lot of animes that I watch and I don't know if you're going to like them or not, but I think for sure the one that I want to suggest to you today, I know you've kind of liked Naruto in the past before. So it's kind of Naruto-esque, but I want to actually suggest to you Black Clover.
I had a feeling like it's eventually was gonna end up happening that you were gonna suggest Black Clover. I had a feeling.
So I know the first 3 episodes were pretty impactful in getting myself hooked. So I want to see how it affects you. But I think Black Clover, it has its moments where it's really badass. I don't know how you're gonna feel about the main character because he's a little loud. Very like I said, Naruto esque, where he's kind of like an oddball. So I want to see how you feel about it. I definitely enjoy Black Clover a lot. The action in that show itself is phenomenal. Again, it's like another One Piece or another Naruto or another like Bleach or whatever. Like the action scenes, it's where it shines. So I want to see what you think of this. So for sure, Black Clover is my suggestion for you, and for anybody else that's listening here to go watch Black Clover and let us know what you think. Especially you, Rafa. I can't wait to hear what you think about it.
Okay, for sure. I will. It's a show that I always see it. I've always known about it. I never gave it a chance. The second I heard that the guy yells nonstop, I was just like, ugh.
Yep.
But okay, I'll give it a chance. I'll check it out. Now, I have a great suggestion for you.
Hmm.
Another top tier S rank Hall of Fame. All my picks are Hall of Fame, Hector. You just don't see them that way. It's your fault, not mine. Um, but as you know, I feel like I could call myself this. I am the king of slice of life high school anime shows.
Hmm.
High school girls hanging out in the clubroom anime shows. I feel like I'm the king of that. Watch a lot of those. I have another one here suggested for you. Um, hopefully you do like this one. I enjoyed this show a lot. It was the characters are very endearing. It is called Stella Women's Academy High School Division Class C3.
Whoa,
It's
I've
a
never
long
heard of
name.
this one before. Okay.
It's a long name, but it is about it's a high school club
Hmm.
full of girls, right? Check, 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 check.
Check, check. Okay.
Uh, it is slice of life, check. It's a comedy, check. It is about these girls who their club revolves around airsoft guns. So that's what they do. They go
Okay.
to tournaments and they shoot that. You know how like there's people who have like they have squads or groups or whatever, they do like
Uh
the
huh.
airsoft battles and stuff like that. That's what they do. But they have a club in high school that does it.
Hmm.
So they practice and they get to learn like how the guns work and they go to the tournaments going against other schools and things like that. There's other
What the
schools that
hell?
also have clubs that do the airsoft stuff. It's a really fun show. It's a very cute show. I know it's kind of weird, like oh, like what else? What else could they tie in high school club with girls? I mean, what else could they tie with it? Airsoft guns. Okay, sure, why not? Yeah, we had K-On! With his music, and they had, Love Live, where they're just hanging out and talking about, romance. Now they got these girls playing with airsoft guns. Sure, why not?
My thoughts
Yes,
exactly.
yeah, I know, right? Exactly. That's the way that I felt going into it. Like, sure, why not? Let's just have another crazy, another thing to give it another twist to this type of genre here,
Hmm.
but even though it's a bit silly, airsoft club room for high school girls, whatever. That's not the point. The point is it's a good show. It's a cute show. It's endearing. It's in the same vein of K-On! Okay, like if
Hmm.
K-On! Was the how would I even explain this? Okay, you know how like Zeus in the Greek mythology
Hmm.
had a bunch of babies, right? Because Zeus. If you guys don't know this, side note, Zeus in the Greek mythology, he was a horn dog. He had his wife, but he also messed around with a lot of other women on the side. So he had a lot of babies, a lot of like demigods and gods and stuff like that, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
So K-On! Is Zeus, and all these other shows that I bring up afterwards are the
Oh my
babies of
god.
K-On! You get what I'm saying?
Uh,
It's not at
sure.
it's not at the level of K-On!, but it's still in that same vein. It still connects to that where it's like it's the cute girls. They all have their own. They're all different. Each one is different in their own personality. So there's the ones that you like more. There's the rowdy one. There's the quiet one. There's I think there's a tsundere one in this one too. You know. So there are different types of girls in the show.
Hmm.
You find the one that you like, whatever, and they're hanging out. You see how they hang out and interact with each other. It's fun, it's cute, it's funny. You enjoy seeing them, and like the really cool thing is that when they actually go into like the matches or into battle, quote unquote, they're not like it's not, they don't play it for laughs. They actually go out there and like and like they actually want to win, and like it's really cool to see. Like they it's not they're not using the airsoft club thing just to have them goof around. They actually take it seriously.
Okay.
The girls do in the club, should I say? They take it seriously. So when they go on tournaments or whatever, they're like, okay, Bravo to Alpha Omega, whatever, like, and then they have the pincer attack, or you know what I'm saying? Like they're not just goofing around. Like they actually take it
They're there to
so
win.
much. They're there to win, and it's something really cool to see. You know,
It definitely
just
sounds
like
very different. Like that. It to be a slice of life comedy girl club group type thing. Like, and then to see that they actually care about a airsoft challenge competition type, gunfight. That's kind of cool. It's definitely
it's
interesting.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's like how like in K-On! They cared about the performances, and then like you see them performing, and you can tell they're not just goofing around up there, they're actually performing the songs, and they care about their music. It's like that, but with airsoft guns, because they actually care about their money.
Okay.
So I hopefully you like the show. I really like the show a lot. It's like it's one of those like it's one of those that like I said, it's like K-On!, but it's his own different twist. It came out at that time after K-On!, where more slice of life shows were really that thing that everybody wanted to do. So this is one of the good ones.
Hmm.
So
Okay. I'm actually really interested in this one. Probably more so than I was for not Kaon. Oh, Love Lab. There you go. Definitely more excited for this one instead of Love Lab. Uh,
mhm.
but yeah, I mean, it's an interesting premise. Very excited to watch it. Like I said, I think you kind of talked this one up pretty big, so I'm super excited to watch this one, especially with the whole airsoft competition. So yeah, for sure. Very
Yeah.
very looking forward to this one.
Again, don't. I feel like you also hype yourself up too much, right? Don't go in. I'm not saying don't go with high expectations, but like don't expect the best anime ever, right?
Oh, I never do. Not at least not with
All
slice of
right.
life animes. Um, but that's just because I'm not a big fan of slice of life animes. So I'm hoping to be surprised in a pleasant way.
Yeah. Hopefully you enjoyed. I enjoyed it a lot.
Well, guys, with that being said, we have come to the conclusion of the pod today. Episode 11 was a fantastic one. We greatly appreciate you guys for coming. Of course, we got
Yes.
to give the shout outs to those that we have to. Shout out to the SS Plus tier, viewers that we have out there, especially you, Josue. Shout out to you. And of course, thank you so much to John from the last episode as well, and to the Geek Jar Boys for giving us a shout out as they do on their Play and Pod. Go check them out. Links will be down in the description down below. Oh, and also, in case you guys needed to, do you need shirts for your company, for your group, for your channel, for whatever it
For
is you may need shirts
anything.
for?
For a
Well,
family picnic,
yes, sir. Oh
family
yeah, yeah, you need
gathering.
that family T-shirt. It says, Alvarado 2020 family summer break type stuff. You never know.
Mm.
But that being said, guys, we have just the place for you. Check out 3upprints.com. They are some great friends of ours as well. Some guys on the Playing Pod, so it's a double whammy. Uh, they create some dope shirts. I'm actually, funny enough, wearing my Unido shirt right now. Fantastic. Very,
Hey.
very, very pleased with this shirt. Very comfy, very dope. Great quality. So definitely go check it out, guys. They are some great, great workers over there. And if you check their IG page as well, you might see that they're actually working on a new little piece as well for a different person, I think. So yeah, definitely check those guys out. And Rafa, any final shout outs you want to give out?
I just want to say once again, thanks to John from the last episode. What a great episode we had. Thank you, Hector. Another great episode we had today.
Yes, sir.
A lot of fun. Shout out to Alex who's always those guys always give us shout outs. They always let people know about us. But also Fudge Alex for the reasons I said at the beginning. Alex, I love you, but still, you can go to heck. Um, and I just want to say, check out my Twitter if you
Ooh,
guys want to talk
yes.
to me. My Twitter is at me talk anime because me do talk anime. So go ahead, hit me up if you guys want to talk to me. And that's pretty much that's all I gotta say. Hector, I'll let you finish it out
Oh,
for
yes,
us.
sir. And also, if you guys are looking to find some great gaming content, I do stream on Twitch, Ultra VMan, Ultra_VMan. Same at for my Twitter as well, if you guys want to tweet at us and talk to us about the Bento Boxcast. Which, that being said, we also have a Twitter page for you guys to follow, the Bento Boxcast. Just look it up, Bento Boxcast on Twitter, and you'll be able to find us there. Great source for some good tweets. We talk about anime here and there, and we also tweet out when the episodes go live. Of course, episodes go live every Friday morning, so that is something to look forward to. Mostly they'll be up before 11 a.m. If anything, we will post it on the social medias, and that's why you guys need to follow us to see if there will be any delays, but trust me, there won't be. All right? Because we're trying to be on the ball with this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But you never know. Stuff happens. That being said, guys, for sure, check us out on Spotify as well. If you want to listen to us on the go and you don't got that good old YouTube premium. And yeah, thanks, guys, for watching. Share us, like, subscribe, hit that bell button because, you know, you're not going to get notified otherwise. Hit the bell button. It's beneficial for you and us as well, because then you guys can get that anime goodness, that weekly anime dosage that you guys need. And we're happy to give it to you guys. All right. That's it, guys. We're going to nice, soft say goodbye here. Just kidding. See you later, guys. Hopefully I didn't mess up your guys' ears. Bye.